done.
It was not a common thing as a little girl to want to play hockey in a small town where I came from. But my mom and dad believed that a girl could do anything that a boy could do. And they said yes when I said, could I play? So I want to say thanks to them.
I'm proud of her accomplishments, and it just says to me that she followed her dream. She worked at it and reached where she wanted to go. And that's all I think a parent dreams for their children.
And one of the greatest honors that I've ever had is to put on that Canadian jersey and to play for all of you, to play for the country. It is really, truly the greatest honor in my life.
Haley's inspiring on so many different levels.
She always is driven to be the best at whatever she does.
She set the standard and then everyone had to try to get there.
She really has taught me a lot. Appreciation, passion, perseverance, and that environment of high-performing athlete, accomplished academic, amazing mom. It's just something that I'm just always going to be thankful for.
I wanted to play the game so bad I didn't care what I had to endure. And looking back as a little girl at that time, it was a lot.
She did go through some pretty intense hell in order to be able to play.
She put up with all the people swearing at her and the parents yelling at her and telling her she didn't belong.
I honestly think I was born for this reason. I was born to do what I did, to not back down and to go for things in life.
That's what sets her apart. She genuinely cares about doing what's good, even if what's good is not popular.
She's living proof that it doesn't matter the obstacles. As long as you work hard at something, you believe in yourself, you set goals, anything can happen. And I'm just so proud of her.
She's leading by example for those that will come after her, so that girls can play hockey, they can do whatever they want.
She's breaking down these barriers for women now in the world of, coaching and working for NHL teams. Really impacted everything in the game of hockey.
The game is far better off for young girls than it was when I started. I feel like I was a part of helping that.
I'm grateful for all that hockey's given me. It's given me everything that I have in my life.
If I've used a lot of this trauma or these early adverse experiences to my favor, it's shaped who I've become as a person, good, bad, or otherwise. I'm at peace with it. The game has been overall very good to me.
Her fourth Olympic gold.
And the beauty of the game never leaves my heart.
Alert, new series starts Sunday at 8/9 Mountain on CTV.
Nova Scotia, home to the final 4 games of the World Juniors. We congratulate Moncton on a terrific job co-hosting. The medals will be decided here over the next 2 days. Sweden, Cechia is semi-final number 1. Thomas Suhanek leading the Czechs to a 2nd straight World Junior semi, but searching for a first medal in 18 years. Connor Bedard's Regina teammate Stanislav Svozil has been absolutely outstanding. On the Swedish side, Philip Bistad and his team trying to end a decade of heartbreak here. And they have the top goalie in the tournament, save percentage-wise, to do it, in Carl Lindbaum, trying to finally get a gold. As we say hello, Canada, and welcome to the penultimate day here at the 2023 World Juniors. James Duffy alongside Cheryl Pounder, Bob McKenzie. Jeff O'Neill will join us a little bit later on for Canada, USA. But first up, it is Czechia and Sweden. They have already met once in this tournament, and it could not have been closer, with the Swedes winning 3-2 in overtime. Czechia, the only team in this tournament not to lose in regulation, as they look for their first gold in 22 years. For Sweden, it's only been a decade, but for this hockey-proud nation, it feels like an eternity. To get you set for it, Mike Johnson and Gordon Miller.
And James, Leo Carlsson of Sweden comes here looking for gold and a solidified spot as a top prospect for the upcoming NHL draft. He had a quiet preliminary round, but picked the right time to get noisy in the quarters against Finland.
It's been a slow build for Leo Carlsson in this tournament, and you're right, it was a little quiet, although he's been playing on the first line really the entire tournament. But you know, he's fought kind of exactly how he wants to play, how he's going to fit in. Was a little bit too deferential early, looking to make a lot of passes, maybe not trying to get to the net himself, but playing on the perimeter. But as this tournament's gone on, he's got more comfortable, he's got more confident, got around the front of the net, and he picked a really good time to have not only his best, but one of the best games of a tournament for a forward against Finland in the quarterfinals, where he had his first 2 goals and was a dominant performer against the Czechs, who are physical, strong on defense. They need Carlsson's size and skill to try to get inside on that Czech defense. He'll be an important player today.
Both these teams lost their semifinals in August in Edmonton, the World Junior Championship. The Swedes went on to beat the Czechs in the bronze medal game to get their second bronze in the last 3 years. James?
Thank you, guys. The Swedes, in many ways, the tragic characters in this World Junior play every year. The story that has repeated itself for the last decade. Sweden, excellent in group play, can't win gold. 40-4 record in the preliminary round since 2012. Only 3 silver and 2 bronze to show for it. They're 13-13 in the knockout round. And Cheryl and Bob, it's really been the Czechs who have been the team story of this tournament so far. They are the #1 seed here in the semifinals. Really good goaltending, some really good offense, but has it been the D that's led the way?
Yeah, because their defense is so good defensively, but it's also been so good offensively. They've got the best, probably top 4 defensemen playing as a unit in this entire tournament, and the reason why Czechia is the #1 seed. They are led on the blue line by David Jiricek, 6th overall to the Columbus Blue Jackets. 2 goals, 6 points so far in the tournament. A tower of power defensively and offensively. And James, you mentioned Stanislav Svozil, another Columbus 3rd-round pick from the most recent draft. And he's been 1 goal, 8 points, leads the team in scoring. He's, of course, a teammate with Connor Bedard with the Regina Pats of the Western Hockey League. But boy, oh boy, have those 2 guys and their partners in the top 4 for Czechia, have they ever been good? They drive both offense and defense for this team.
One thing they've really done is spread out the scoring all over the place, unlike Canada, led by Bedard. But Jiri Kulik is tied at the top, the Buffalo first-rounder. What specific problems does he pose for Sweden?
Well, he uses his frame, but he is a north-south skater. He's a real effective one at that. And he's playing with his lineman, Shabalov, as well as Shala. And these are 2 guys that can move the puck. He transports the puck. You'll see him skate through the neutral zone. He's leading in possession time in the offensive zone at 53 seconds. But it's this layered approach to the game. 15 slot shots, a lot of them coming from the inner slot, which means he's not afraid to get to the interior, and also rush chances. So he likes to play off the rush as well. That's showing that speed. So they're going to have to be very aware of him, because when he enters that offensive zone, he is extremely dangerous with 5 goals and 2 assists.
It's been a while since these 2 teams met in the semifinals, mostly because Czechia has struggled the last 15 years at this tournament. The last time they met in the semifinals, the Czechs went on to win gold, the second of 2 consecutive golds in 2000 and 2001. Some Swedish jerseys in the crowd, some Czech jerseys tonight, but mostly familiar red, black, and white of Canada. 4 hours away from the showdown between Canada and USA, but the first semifinals next.
I was tempted by the idea of simple investing, but I really missed RBC's expertise. I guess a one-size-fits-all approach might work for some, not me. Now I'm back to the personalized advice I need.
I got this mountain bike for only $11.
DealDash.com, the fair and honest bidding site. This KitchenAid mixer sold for less than $26. This iPad sold for less than $43. And this PlayStation 5 sold for less than $1.
I won these Bluetooth headphones for $20.
I got these 3 suitcases for less than $40.
And shipping is always free.
Go to deal-.com right now and see how much you can save.
Semi-final day of the 2023 World Junior Hockey Championship starts with Czechia and Sweden. Both teams trying to end long droughts at the World Junior Hockey Championship. It's a North American officiating crew. The referees are Graydon Hamilton and Michael Campbell from Canada. Brandon Grillo of the United States and Tarrenton Wylnzik of Canada are the linesmen. Sweden is the visiting team today, and both goalies have carried the load. Carl Lindbom has played every minute of every game for the Swedes so far. Allowed 2 goals on 35 shots in their quarterfinal win against the Finns as a .942 save percentage to lead the tournament. And Thomas Suchanek played every minute of every game for Czechia. He's got a .935 save percentage, playing in his 2nd consecutive World Junior. Magnus Havlid, first time as the head coach of the Swedish national junior team, trying to deliver gold for the first time since 2012 in Calgary. And the veteran Radim Rulak, old school, hardcore, but adapting behind the Czechia bench. First head coach of the national junior team in 2006. Now behind the bench for the 2nd consecutive year. Swedes last won gold in 2012. Czechs last won a medal in 2005.
Block's good. All right, here we go. Let's have some fun here. Good drop.
And off the face-off, the Swedes break it out. Sweden scored twice in 2.5 minutes to erase a 2-1 deficit against Finland. The 3rd period late in that quarterfinal matchup. They were down with 3.5 to go and came back to beat their arch rivals to advance to this game. Czechia, a much easier time with a decisive win over Germany, 9-1. Or Switzerland, rather, 9-1.
With the game winner being shorthanded as well. I mean, it looked like he's got to go the other way, and it was, you think about Canada, think about Sweden trying to recover emotionally after such a high. Sweden beating Finland late in that dramatic fashion, then trying to rest, recoup, travel, and be ready to play the early game today.
Axel Sandin, draft eligible as well, sends that down to the Czech zone. Czechs have 10 of their 33 goals from defensemen. Their D has been by far the most active in the tournament. Stanislav Svozil leads all D in points in the tournament so far with 8 in 5 games. And a quick shot there, turned away by Lindbom. Back at the point, Svozil across to David Spacek, shoots, it goes off a skate. Fabian Wagner plays that ahead. Philip Biestad had it knocked away. It's picked up by Svozil jumping in. Czechs are changing. Svozil, a backhand shot that goes wide. That was a defenseman, the only man in deep for Czechia.
1-on-4 does not matter. The Czech defense will activate all game. Look at how close.
We asked Radim Rulak yesterday if that's part of the team's strategy to have their D so involved. He said, well, it's their strategy, so.
And he just goes with whatever the players say apparently now in his kinder, gentler, older days.
Well, he was a bit tough at practice yesterday. His stick took a beating. Sent back down the ice. And icing called against the Swedes. The way they won that game and the man who won it were unlikely. Shorthanded.
Shorthanded. Stjernborg, the captain, slips at 5-hole. And that is his only goal of the tournament. He hasn't been that involved with the team. He's got a more of a support player despite wearing the C. But he came through when it mattered most.
Not just his first goal in 2 World Junior tournaments. As that puck skipped wide of the goal by Menchik as Lindblom got a piece of it. That was his first goal of the year. Anywhere. So maybe not the guy you had in the pool. Break the 2-2 tie. There's a shot by Alice. Czech goes off the glass, up and out of play.
And these two teams will know each other very well. They're from the same Group A, so they played against each other round robin. They saw the highlights. They were in the building. They've been around each other. There shouldn't be any surprises in this game. Right, and if you're worried about the defense for Czechia, Sweden is well aware. You got to pay very close attention.
Shapovalov for the face-off against Stjernborg. Didn't have a point in last year's tournament. I'm just trying to underline how unlikely that goal was.
He must be a heck of a leader off ice because he's not doing a whole bunch on the ice as far as production-wise.
Shapovalov wins the face-off back to the hot check. It was Yuri Tahacek who scored the tying goal late for Cechia, the fourth overtime, and the point they got in that overtime loss was critical to seal first place for them in the group. Here's Jiricek, winds and shoots, hit a leg in front of it. Shapovalov. Brought by Sternborg to Lysell. Fabian Lysell. Lead pass. Isak Rosean moves in, feeds it across. That's knocked away by Tahacek. Lysell, the first-round pick of the Boston Bruins, still in for his first point of the tournament. Shapovalov moves up. That's got it back up by Sternborg. In place of Vakra in the Swedish Hockey League. Victor Sjöholm fires that down. It was off a stanchion, up and out of play.
And Sweden's going to try to look to be dangerous off the rush. Quick on the counter, Rosén pass to Rosean. He's trying to find Sternborg or Lysell backdoor, but Tahacek back, stick on the ice to sweep that one away. No real threat. But breaking down the checks on the cycle might be more difficult for Sweden than off the rush.
This is a big, experienced team at this level for Cechia. 16 players back from the August tournament, 19 overall have played in the World Junior before. Svozil shoots. That was blocked by Wagner. Moran works that freight. Around to Wagner. And scooped up by Bistad. Philip Bistad busting with Carlson. And Svozil moved Bistad off the puck. Spacek, son of longtime NHLer Yaroslav Spacek, moves it up. And the Czechs break out 2-on-2. Sturz moves it and shoots. Melash was with him. And now Melash got it back up in the corner. Feeds it back to Hamara. Moved back up by Janssen. We had 2 goals in that game against Czechia, including the overtime winner. Very quiet pass broken up. Here's Moravets. David Moravets, who plays here in Halifax for the Quebec League's Mooseheads. Elias Pettersson, the Vancouver draft, moves that to Ostlund. And no Ostlund. Back across to Stromgren. Stromgren drops that back to Janssen. Across he goes to Pettersson. Pettersson, a long shot, juggled it by Suhanek. Stromgren wins that battle for the puck. Winds across the top. Walk around Sapacek. The long shot taken by Janssen, knocked away by Suhanek. Brought back in by Hamara. Along with Jakob Kos. Janssen took down Hamara. The puck is under the shin pad of Hamara. Finally knocked free and picked up by Ostlund. Back for Pettersson as both teams start a change. Lead pass by Pettersson, chipped in now by Oscar Pettersson. Mahura goes back. The long shot taken there by Sjöholm. And the save made by Suhanek, and some pushing and shoving breaks out in front.
Seen a lot of this in Sweden's games in this tournament. Not a lot of extra stuff after the whistles, but maybe the moment and the opponents. That's a good look to try to get to Ostlund's stick on the shot tip. And this is, again, how Sweden's going to have to kind of dart in there, look for their tips. Probably not hang in there and bang away with the bigger Czech defensemen, but use their speed to time their screens and their net front presence.
Czechs open with a win over Canada on Boxing Day, 5-2. Beat Austria, their only blemish, the overtime loss. That puck was off the glass and out to Sweden, then beat Germany 8-1, beat Switzerland 9-1 in the quarters. The Swiss opened with 3 straight wins over Austria, Germany, and Czechia. Lost 5-1 to Canada on New Year's Eve. Then the 3-2 overtime, or 3-2 win rather, over Finland in the quarterfinal.
Well, the one thing that's been clear the whole 2 weeks here, Czechs are as good as ever. It's not a Cinderella story.
No.
They are
off the draw. Robertson, a quick chance, that crawled up the arm of Suhanek, and he makes the stop. This is a very good Czech team from the goal out.
Yeah, and Suhanek's been rock solid, played every minute as you mentioned. That is a nice, tidy little save, little juggling act, but that's tough to cover for Tahacek. You're trying to relieve with your stick, but when it's that quick, there's not much you can do but look for a save. On the rolling puck, he throws it like a lacrosse ball. Suhanek makes a nice grab.
Suhanek's got unpicked through 2 NHL drafts, went to Buffalo's prospect camp as an undrafted free agent. He's gone back to Tri-City of the Western Hockey League. If he's not picked in next summer's draft, he'll be a free agent, but you got to think someone will take a chance on him now. Sjöholm shoots, that goes high.
Yeah, I mean, you figure this time around, after success, a couple different World Junior tournaments against the highest competition, someone will take a flyer. As he's beaten the Americans, he's beaten Canada, and oh yeah, he's mixed in 4 points on his tournament as well, which puts him in the middle of the team in the scoring race.
Off the draw, Shapovalov wins it. Lead past Edward Shalla, another top prospect for the upcoming NHL draft. In comes Liesel. Fabian Liesel works that back across. That was poked out. A race for it now. Kulik. But Liesel came back to take that away. Sjöholm with it. That was knocked down. Jiricek up for Shalla. In comes Shalla. Drops it off for Kulik. Back for Shalla. Broken up by Sandin Pellikka. Shapovalov. Back for Spacek. Across to Svozil. Svozil throws that back in deep for Shapovalov, the Vegas second-round draft pick. And a player they like a lot.
He's grown on me. Didn't know anything about him before the tournament started, but he's been rock solid. Not flashy, but very effective and important for the Czechs.
Roseanne threw that rink wide. Sturz comes in. The play's onside. On the back check, Liesel took that away. Knocked down by Spacek. Plays it back across to Svozil. And with these two goaltenders and these two blue line crews, you got to think low scoring and tight might be the way this goes. Robinet's trying to knock that free. Here's Melash with it. Crisscrossing with Sturz. It goes back to Svozil. And a long shot by Spacek went just wide. Another chance rattled wide. This time from Melash. Svozil shoots, tipped in front. Great stuff there by Lindboe. Now Melash tees it up. And Lindboe might got a piece of that the way by.
Puck was just rolling a little too much for Melash to get good, clean contact. Just trying to elevate it. Sailed it over top of the net.
Norayan works in and fires that back down to the Czech zone. Suhanek out to play it. Turned over by Hamarov. Fed back across. That pass from Wagner was broken up, but almost a disaster there for the Czechs. Now brought back the other way. Rishavi works in. He's got a step back hand shot. Lindboe makes the save. He looked back, but he got it with the pad. Great chance there for Martin Rishavi. He plays for Moose Jaw in the Western League. Away comes Janssen. Moving in, shoots. Suhanek to stop on that. Ogren pounded that wide. Ostlund pulls that free. No Ostlund. Peels back in the corner. Feeds that back for Elias Pettersson. He shoots. Bouncing puck in front. Lekkerimäki got a handle on it. Sunek's lost his stick. He got tied up with his defenseman. And now still loose. Sunek no stick. And the Swedes have the puck back. Liam Ogren works that free, but it's picked off, and Rishavi's got it back. He'll bank it off the boards and try to change. Sunek still does not have his goal stick.
He doesn't realize it's right beside him. He could grab it. It's right there. And now he sees it.
That's got to be a helpless feeling.
Someone's got to tell him, hey, just bend over and grab that thing.
Sjöholm feeds that down. Oscar Pettersson in after was knocked away from him. Hacek almost put that out. Yeah, he did.
Straight out.
Delay of game. The first power play of the game will go to Sweden. As the Hacek goes off. Rishavi almost opened the scoring right there for Cechia.
Hey, what are we doing for the Chevrolet Good Deeds Cup this year? As much as we can! That's good! What about donating clothes? That's good. Washing cars? Got Mom an ice cream?
Come on over. Bring your appetite. Bring a friend. Bring a few. Our home is your home. Let us give you the tour. Then you can relax. And a little later, we'll even put on a show. New Brunswick, always inviting.
scoreless, 8 minutes into the game, and the first power play will go to Sweden after Cechia has this one roll up his stick, sails it over the glass. And we've seen the ice can get a little bobbly or plays around the board. You're trying to chip it off the glass, it gets on the top of your blade, and all of a sudden you're down a man. We've seen quite a few of those in this tournament so far.
Swedish power play has not been great. 2 for 19.
You're being nice. The tournament we have multiple teams that belong at 20-30%. Barely 10.
And given the talent, 6 first-round picks, 16 drafted players in the Swedish roster.
And their leading point getter is a defenseman, so they have Janssen back there who's quite offensive-minded as well.
Janssen up ahead to Roseanne. First-round pick of Buffalo in the 2021 draft. Isak Roseanne drops it up to Lysell. Throws that back to Ogren for Janssen. Janssen drops it back. Lysell to the goal mouth. Played back by Oscar Pettersson. Janssen shoots. He fired that wide. Roseanne back with it. Picked off. And Mahura moves up to the line, but not out. Lysell. To the goal line again. Oscar Pettersson. Back for Lysell. Across to Roseanne. Back to Lysell. Has time and shoots. That was blocked by Spacek. And David Spacek reaches for it, pokes it back to center ice, and almost a break there for Marcel, shorthanded. Roseanne. Got up by Shapovalov at center ice, and the Swedes have to regroup. Away comes Lysell. Milton Oscarsson, the big 6'6" center, comes out. He'll park himself in front. Here's Leo Carlsson with it. Started sticking away. Now that's blocked by Sandin Pellikka. Now, a centering pass goes off that stick. It's a discarded stick, not a broken stick, so you can't sweep it away.
Now, you can skate into it accidentally on purpose to get it out of there. If you're Sweden, you want to open up the passing lanes right around the front of the net.
And that stick could get in the way.
Yeah.
Lekkerimäki for Carlsson. 15 seconds going to power play, but hasn't done much yet. That's poked out by Juracek. Now, Providence gets a stick on Sandin Pellikka. Sometimes a power play can give you momentum, and sometimes it can take it away. No shots for the Swedes on that one. Providence banks it high off the glass. It drops back down to Juracek, the 6th overall pick to Columbus in last summer's NHL draft. Juracek, crisp pass ahead for Sturz. Gabriel Sturz got crunched there by Schoholm, plays it back in. Wagner drops that back. Ostlund. Now the rink-wide pass picked off by Kos. And Jakob Kos plays it back down to the Swedish zone. William Stromgren. Calgary's 2nd-round pick. Flips that back down to the Czech zone. And there's that stick again.
Got more touches than most of the players so far in the game.
Stromgren chips that back. Here's Janssen back with it. That pass is fired. And Elias Pettersson has to go back. Plays it back to center right to Roseanne. Kicks it back in. And Marcel got it up. Marcel. Drops it back. Goes with a shot. Lindblom got a piece of that. Bjornborg rink wide to Pettersson. 3rd-round pick of the Canucks in the last NHL draft. Moves that to Pettersson. Or to Lysell, rather. And Roseanne got hammered down by Hauser. Brought back by Hamara. Bumped in the corner. The stick of Mahura was knocked out of his hands by Sandin Pellikka. Flying up in the air.
He's looking for a call of an interference. Puck was nowhere near him.
Swedes are changing. Lysell bumps it back. Inside 8.5 to go here in the first period. Still no score. Sandin Pellikka. Up for Beasted. Bumped off the puck by Shapovalov. In comes Kulik along with Shala. Kulik gets a step. We're seeing fans of the shot. Kulik. He's that back to Juracek. He was all primed up to shoot it. And the puck bounced over his stick. Alice Czech fires it back in. That's picked off by Shapovalov. Shapovalov throws it back in front. Lindblom sweeps that away. At the point is Czech. Shoots tipped in front. Great deflection by Kulik. And Lindblom makes a good stop on that. Knocked down the line by Juracek. Walks in and fires. It's blocked by Wagner. Shapovalov. Back in front, bounces out the stick of Shala. Czech. Back for Juracek. In comes Juracek on Carlsson. Juracek still with it. Throws that back in front, and Lindblom had to be careful with that. And held it just long enough to get a whistle. 7:31 to go. The stick having a strong first period.
An evening in front of the fire can be so relaxing, but dangerous creosote buildup can cause a chimney fire if not removed. Help protect your home with CSL, the chimney sweeping log. It helps clean your chimney while it burns. Inside your chimney walls, there's a constant buildup of flammable tar and creosote. The active minerals in CSL will reduce those dangerous deposits, making your next fire safer. It's so easy. Burn just once every 60 fires. CSL, the chimney sweeping log.
CSL is available at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and Walmart.
This place is...
The Mushroom Kingdom!
Hello.
Your brother is landed in the Darklands. They're under Bowser's control.
A mustachioed human has arrived in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Do you know him?
Do you think I know every human being with a mustache wearing an identical outfit with the letter of his first name on it? Because I don't.
The Open gets underway January 15th as tennis's biggest stars take to the court down under. Canada's Felix Auger-Aliassime and Leylah Fernandez in action only on TSN.
See if Felix can keep his hot run going. Maybe the hottest player on the tour in the second half of last season.
That tournament is hard in the sleeping habits.
I love it. Late at night, early in the morning.
Yeah. Robinets wins that face-off back. Svozil tees it up and Lindblom fights that off. The Czech defensemen, led by Jiricek, are not shy about shooting. Ostlund moves it ahead. Engstrom feeds that down. Now Stromgren with it. Banks that back to Ostlund. And Engstrom stick breaks. Now a chance for Cechia back the other way. Melas loops it across to Sturz, trying to feed that back in front. And Melas couldn't reach him with the pass. That was almost a disaster for Adam Engstrom. Another stick discarded. That's Melas who broke his. Svozil picks it free. Shoots from a sharp angle that hit Lindblom. I'm not sure he saw that. And now Rishevi came in with the puck taken away from him.
He didn't. He just hit him in the chest as Sturz passed right through his eyes. It's a good position. Got him right in the play corner. Middle of it.
Here's Janssen with it. Ludwig Janssen, a Florida 4th round pick. Playing in the Allsvenskan, the Swedish second league. The long shooting loved by Suhanik, and he'll hang on.
Well, these goalies have both been really good in this tournament. They've played every minute of every game, and they are right up there in goals against. Suhanik is second, save percentage. Lindblom first. Suhanik just in behind him, and very likely the goaltender of the tournament probably comes from this game.
Whoever wins, you'd have to think.
You'd have to think, and can't imagine them not putting up good stats as the teams are so defensive in front of them. Suhanik's a little bit more creative with his style. Lindblom very much under control, technically sound.
And Suhanik trying to follow in the footsteps of the 7 NHL goalies from Czechia who have played this season. Out of 37 players total.
Not even one skater per team in the NHL.
Shapovalov with it. Some not bad ones, though.
No, a lot of high-end guys, just not a ton of them.
Moved ahead to Kos. And Kos brings it back down to the Swedish zone. Moran looks for it. Bouncing puck behind the goal. Sapacek, who was a late addition to the Czechia roster, had that knocked away. Like a lot of teams, the Czechs had a illness going through their squad. They weren't sure if Sapacek would be ready, but he joined them after their second game. Mahura works that free now for Cechia. Mahura looks for Hauser. Now Sandin Pellikka with it. Sweden's had the only power play so far. That was for delay of game against Cechia. And now the Swedes ice it with 5:17 to go in the first period.
It's been a methodical game, kind of the way you thought that it would get played. Of course, Magnus Havlid knows he's got a defensive team.
And he's also got a young team. He's got a group of players here who are young. 11 can return. 10 from their team that won the under-18 gold medal in the spring. So We asked Havell about it yesterday, and he said if it was 50-50, we took the younger player. Swedes are the host country for next year's World Junior Championship in Gothenburg.
And yet they find themselves playing for a medal this year with the younger roster.
Right.
Whatever their choices were obviously good ones.
And their core players are younger. Svozil. Great pass for Shala. In comes Shala. Fans on that pass. He's tied up by Janssen. Shapovalov plays it back, but it gets by the captain, Stanislav Svozil, and back down the ice. Spot check. Plays it ahead. Kulik up for Shala with Shapovalov. Shala wise with the target. That's picked up. An elite pass down to Carlson. In comes Leo Carlson on more of it. Carlson lost the puck and moved out by Kulik. Hamara jumps up. Hamara in across the line. Shoots. Lindblom the pad save. Hamara on the rebound. And Lindblom sweeps that away. Sjöholm goes out right in front, and Pettersson knocks it down. Sjöholm slides it back across to Sandin Pellikka. Liam Ogren, Minnesota first-round pick in the last draft, plays it for Östlund. And now Melash worked the puck free and plays it back to center ice. Sandin Pellikka. Move at the center. Sturts knocked it down. Lekkerimäki got into him, and now Cechia has it back. Moravats up the center ice for Sturts. And Sandin Pellikka stepped into him. Now racing to it is Ogren, knock it down. And rink wide he goes to Norea. Robinette. Had that knocked away by Lekkerimäki. Cechia off for Sturts. Engstrom stepped up. That was taken away from him by Melash. And Ogren's got it back. 3 to go in the opening period. 5-4 the Swedes, the edge in shots. But no score so far. And that shooting rattles over the glass and out of play. You're watching semifinal day of the 2023 World Junior Hockey Championship.
When tired, achy feet make your whole body want to stop, it's Dr. Scholl's time. Our insoles are designed with unique massaging gel waves for all-day comfort and energy. Find your relief in-store or online.
With Eastside Mario's all you can eat, you manja, manja, manja. Oh, Pop, they got more salad. Oh, Pop, they got more soup. Oh, Pop, they got more garlic home loaf. Manja, mama, manja. Hey, bada boo, bada bing.
It's about more than the goals they score. It's about life skills they learn. It's about friends they make. It's about their love for hockey. None of it would be possible without the assist you can provide. The Hockey Canada Foundation Assist Fund is breaking down barriers to get Canadian youth on the ice and in the game. Every child deserves the chance to play. Donate now at hockeycanadafoundation.ca.
Most goals, the Czechs, then known as the Czech Republic, have ever scored the World Junior Championship, 43 in 1995. That was 2 years after the famous Velvet divorce between the Czechs and Slovaks, which happened during the World Junior Championship in Sweden that year. So on January 1st, they woke up as players from different countries.
But we're playing together as the same company for the rest of the tournament.
They played as the Czechs and Slovaks the rest of the way. The team has Vaclav Prospol, Vaclav Barada, very talented lineup. Peter Nedved. Here's Kos. What's that back down? A race for it now. Rishavi again got a step. Going to take it in the end, boys. It's going to be a penalty on Sweden. It's going to be Engstrom going off for a hole.
Rishavi has maybe been the only player in this entire game in the first period to find some open ice in the neutral zone. He's already been sprung loose once with some great speed for a great chance, and here he puts Engstrom in a tough
Sweden
spot.
number 8, minor penalty for holding.
And just skating off the puck, little flipper. And he's got the wheels, forcing Engstrom to reach with the left hand onto the hips of Rishavi, trying to keep him to the outside right there. Call's going to get made. Easy to see, easy to call. So the Czechs go to their first power play, which has been a little bit better. 5 for 17, 29%.
5 different goal scorers. 3 of them are defensemen. And Jiricek is the lone D-man out there now. Is Shala off that face-off win, drops it back to him. To Shala. Edward Shala back to Jiricek. Walks in, holds and shoots. Lindholm fights that off. Shala. Bounces that back to Jiricek. Rink wide he goes. And that's teed up by Kulik, but he cued that wide. Shala. Back down to Marcel. Race for it now. And Sternberg almost got to that. He had the short-handed goal against Finland. Now they bank it up, and he's in behind the Czech defenders. But Suhanek comes up to play it onto the stick of Sternberg. Shoots from a sharp angle. That's knocked down by Suhanek. After getting a shorty in the last game, all of a sudden Sternberg's motivated.
He's feeling it.
And Oscarson knocks that down. Worked in by Robertson. Simone Robertson taken out. And the Swedes were hollering for a holding penalty there. Kulik pokes that back around for Jiricek. A minute to go in this Czech power play. Kulik swings that back. Jiricek moves it down for David Spacek. Plays for Sherbrooke in the Quebec League, a top contender to represent the Quebec League in the Memorial Cup this year. Robinette works it back across. Melas drops it back. Svozil winds in. Svozil feeds that down to Robinette. Back to Svozil. Shoots. Lindholm save. Rebound loose in front. And sent down the ice by Sternberg. Final minute out of the period. 30 seconds to go in the Czech power play. Spacek gets a step on Elias Pettersson. Winds back and feeds that to Svozil. Back to Spacek. Banks it back, and Svozil able to hold the line. Svozil throws it back in front. That pass back away from Brabenec. Brabenec down to Svozil. Back to Brabenec. Across he goes. Spacek winds and shoots, and Pettersson blocked that. And then Pettersson sweeps it down the ice. That'll do it for the power play. 2 shots for Czechia.
Good kill from Sweden, collapsing to the front of the net, taking away pass lanes, getting in the shot lanes for the blocks. Not surprising for a team that has only allowed 1 power play goal against this tournament. 17 of 18 heading into the game.
Post plays it in. Czechs have allowed the fewest goals in the tournament. Hamara feeds that back in, but time expires. And the team to go to the dressing room scoreless after the opening.
I was lured by their promises of retiring wealthier. But when I saw my returns, well, I guess that's why I never heard them talk about performance. With RBC, I'm back to feeling confident.
Me and my buddies, we would get the auto trader and we'd scan through it like it was comic books.
The app is so cool. You got your listings, as you can see, is your nifty little great price badge. Auto trader has completely replaced my dad.
Hey.
Men, are you urinating more often? Are you waking at night to go? Nearly all men will develop BPH during their lives, and half of them will have more frequent urges to urinate. Reduce the symptoms of BPH with Super Beta Prostate, the brand recommended most by real urologists. It's the fastest growing prostate supplement in Canada because it's proven to help you reduce the extra bathroom trips and take back control. Get urologist recommended Super Beta Prostate.
The record-breaking online World Juniors 50-50 is back this holiday season. Don't miss your chance to win more and give more. December 19th to January 5th. Proceeds will benefit important charitable initiatives in your community and support girls hockey programming. Go to worldjuniors5050.ca or scan the QR code on your screen to get your tickets. You could be our next lucky winner, and you can take home half the total pot in your province. Don't miss out. Pick up your World Juniors 50-50 tickets today.
The first intermission is brought to you by Destination Moncton Dieppe.
Well, this is pretty much what you'd expect from two even teams who played an overtime game in group play. Zeros through one period of play. Czechia and Sweden, a ticket to the gold medal game on the line as we welcome you to our first intermission here on TSN. James Duthie alongside Cheryl Pounder and Bob McKenzie. And also, we shouldn't be surprised that it's a goaltending duo so far. Two of the best in the tournament. Let's start with Carl Lindbaum. Besides that early stretch against Canada where Canada scored 3 quick ones, he's been basically perfection the entire tournament.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's leading the tournament in save percentage at .942, and he did talk about just being mentally more resilient, and after being down 3 goals, coming back and playing a strong game after that is a testament to that. Lindbaum has really been so effective. He's got 9 saves in the first period, and they have to be timely saves. You've got traffic in front. You got to out-battle the heavy presence. Listen, Czechia knows they're going to have to take away his eyes. They're going to have players streaming the net and really attacking, getting into the paint there. He follows in tracks perfectly there. I think he's controlling his rebounds as well. But he knows that there's going to be a lot of point shots from Czechia with that back end that's just lethal, led by David Jiricek, who's going to look to get tons of shots through. So really out-battling, playing aggressive at the top of his crease and redirecting rebounds.
Lindbaum and Suhanik have both played every minute of every game for their 2 teams. The only 2 in the last 4. Canada and the U.S. have had different goalies in. And talking to one of the Czech coaches last night, there was a little bit of mild concern. Have they played Suhanik too much? No signs of that so far.
No fatigue setting in for him, and he's been really good for the Czechs. And I mean, he's got a really good defense in front of him, and he's maybe not faced as many quality opportunities as Lindbaum at the other end. But I really like the way the Tri-City American goaltender from the Western Hockey League has been playing. He played great in the summer tournament. He's playing great again here too. You know, it's interesting. He's listed as 6'1" on their roster. NHL Central Scouting, though, has him at 6 feet, half an inch. He's not been drafted yet. And he's a pretty accomplished goalie in the Western League, much like Thomas Milic. And he's a pretty accomplished goalie here, much like Lindbaum. And Lindbaum went in the 7th round of the draft. He's listed at 6'1". And in the National Hockey League, a goalie who is 6 foot, half an inch, or even 6'1" is on the cusp of being considered too small. Wow. Thomas Milic hasn't been drafted. Suhanik hasn't been drafted. It's an interesting philosophy. The NHL likes big goaltenders. So Nikita Quap, for the German goaltender, he's 6'4", and he got drafted in the 7th round a number of years ago. Kind of an interesting phenomenon with goaltenders. As well as they play here, they don't seem to get the same NHL love.
Somebody told me my Wikipedia page says I'm 6'3". I'm not going to change it.
I was 5'6".
You put that in there.
I was 5'6".
I have to lower the seat a lot
I was with you when you updated that.
To be even with you guys. When we don't have any goals, you look for the little things. So tell me one little thing that you like that could end up determining the game a little bit later on.
Well, I like the way Czechia exited their zone. You know, they have that quick close support, and when they have that quick close support, they're able to exit. They're not afraid to use the mid lane of the ice, also go to the weak side. You just see support all over the ice, and it's little 2-3 foot passes that get them out and allow them to enter the zone with some speed. And of course, using the net, you use the net, you're evasive, and you come up the middle, it gives you options left or right, and that's exactly what is happening for them. Off of the wall, little pop plays that keep them connected. And listen, they're not afraid to stretch the zone either and pull it back every once in a while, but it's how they push and press, and the little pop angles, and then of course they can jump on loose pucks. But you can see Suhanik coming out each and every time trying to set it, and this is the one where they're using the weak side, so popping close together and then changing the look of it, and that really changes the way you cover it as well. So I really like the way they've entered, and eventually they'll be able to attack.
All right, up next we'll get you set for the next game and the next tournament on the International Hockey Sked. Canada-USA is just ahead. Mark Masters will chat with Canada's Caden Bankier as they get set for that matchup against their eternal rival. And Cheryl and Kenzie get you set for Canada's defense of its World U18 gold.
Get your Hockey Canada gear at shop.hockeycanada.ca. The largest selection of Hockey Canada gear anywhere. Shop now and get today's special offer. Shop.hockeycanada.ca. A Fanatics experience.
They got my attention with all their talk about fees. But hey, fees don't tell the whole story. The tools and support that I get with RBC is what really matters to me. I'm in charge of my investing decisions and feeling confident.
Anna stayed at this hotel and paid this price. Not bad, Anna. Laura stayed at the same hotel with the same experience and paid a lot less. How? Well, Anna found the hotel on her usual website. Laura, on the other hand, used Trivago to compare offers from major booking sites and found a great deal. Something tells me Anna will be using Trivago next time. Hotel? Trivago.
Hockey fans, get your Hockey Canada gear at shop.hockeycanada.ca, the official online store of Hockey Canada, and the largest selection of Hockey Canada gear anywhere. Get jerseys, men's and women's tees, hoodies, headwear, and more. Don't miss out. Shop now and get today's special offer. Shop.hockeycanada.ca, a Fanatics experience.
Women's, men's, junior, senior, Olympics, doesn't get better than USA, Canada. 6 o'clock Eastern for the pregame show tonight. Drop of the puck a little after 6:30. The U.S. has won 5 of its last 6 against Canada at the World Juniors. Let's hear from Canadian forward Caden Bankier with Mark Masters.
Caden, we're hours away from a Canada-U.S. semifinal at the World Juniors. What are you feeling?
Just excitement. You know, you grow up watching Canada-U.S. At this tournament. You want to be a part of it and play in this game growing up. So it's going to be really exciting, and I'm really looking forward to it.
What makes it a special rivalry?
I think just the way the borders are set up, just right next door. They're always right there, and I think in every sport, you know, Canada-U.S., you always want to beat the Americans, and I think it's no different here tonight. And I know we're going to be ready, and I think it's going to be a great game.
How do you feel like your team matches up against Team USA?
I think we're both pretty skilled teams. You know, I think we've been playing a really good tournament, both of us leading up to this game. But you know, I think we might have the edge physicality-wise. I think we're a tough team to play against down low, and when we're tracking back. So I think in that aspect we got to be ready, and I think if we do that, I think the favor could be in our hands.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have the biggest defense. Most of their guys sub 6 feet. I mean, how much of a factor will that be on the forecheck?
Yeah, I mean, they're really skilled when they got time and space and when they're able to create plays. So we got to limit their chances and make sure that they don't have time to build up their speed and generate off the rush. So if we can limit that down low and play our game, I think it could help us a lot.
So they say they do have a plan to stop Connor Bedard. Do you think a game plan exists to stop this guy right now?
I don't know. I don't think. I think a lot of teams have been saying they can try and stop him, but I think he just finds a way. I think he's just got that special ability to find ways to get it done and be successful. So I'm excited to see what he does tonight. I mean, every night he does something pretty amazing. So should be another great one for him tonight.
2 more days here at the World Juniors. The next event in international hockey comes quickly. It's the women's U18 in Sweden. Starts Sunday as Canada, the defending gold medalists, take on Finland 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific time. And the voices who will be calling that one for you, Cheryl Pounder and Kenzie Lalonde. Now, this was the tournament in Sweden that was another casualty of COVID last year. They made up for it in Madison, Wisconsin in June. Canada beating the U.S. in the gold medal game. 7 returning players for Canada. But what do you think will be the identity of this Canadian team?
Well, I think anytime you're representing your country for Canada, you want to play with pace and you want to play with speed, but there's no question about it that this team has a lot of experience. They're coming back with 2 defenders that were on that team that won gold, of course 5 forwards, so that's 7 total. So they'll know that they'll have some chemistry there, a little bit of experience winning that gold medal, but they're going to want to play with an edge. I am telling you, they'll want to be physical, and this is a team that can do that. They can be really heavy on the puck. When you go back to that tournament, they struggled in group play. They actually lost 2-0 to Finland in the onset of it. And then, of course, they lost to the Americans 7-0, and Kenzie and I were talking about it, saying, man, what are we going to see if they're able to make it through that semifinal action? But it was a different team. So much like any short-term tournament, anything can happen, but this team is built with speed and physicality.
We knew coming into this tournament everybody would be watching Connor Bedard. So I'm not expecting any Connor Bedards necessarily on the women's U18 team, but who are the players to watch coming in, Kenzie?
Well, we've talked on it.
our 7 returnees, 3 of those players scored in that gold medal final. So that's huge to have those returning big moment players. Jocelyn Amos being one of those. She got the game-winning goal in that final against the Americans. She's 17 years old now, from Lisa Craig, Ontario. She's playing with the London U22. There are 14 players that are going to come into this team that have that U22 elite level experience in the Ontario League. That is huge. And it's such an elation of a moment for her to score that goal. Kind of disbelief just because of that 7-0 loss. We also do need to touch on Ava Murphy, a returning D. Cheryl, you've touched about her. She will be huge on the back end for that. She'll use her frame to her advantage. She's 5'9". So I think having those 2 pieces and some 3 new goaltenders will be an exciting new piece. Ariane LeBlanc, she's at Stansted. She'll be in the net for the Canadians. Hannah Clark, Farrah Walker as well, 2 other of the goaltenders. So some new faces, and that's what's most exciting about this U18 tournament.
Yeah, Cheryl mentioned Canada losing to Finland in the opener in June. So no guarantee it's just Canada-US anymore. How critical has this tournament become in the development of women's hockey around the world?
Huge. I think we go back to that last tournament. Canada was 1 for 2 in the preliminary round. You touched on the loss to Finland. Sanni Vanhanen, who's a name that comes to mind now in the Finnish program. She already has 2 world championships under her belt at Olympic Games, and she's 17 years old.
Amazing.
So we'll see her on the stage again. And overall development for these players, the best of the best will be at the tournament, and that's what these countries want. A lot of these players are in the SDHL, the Nyston Liga. They're playing with older women, so here's a chance to see the best in their age group.
Yeah, and I really love the fact that this U18 event is happening and it's visible, because it also allows the other countries to play against some of the best in the world for the first time. And it's important that they recognize this is what we need to do to get to that next level, because this is where it all starts. This is where growth, this is where development happens, and then the visibility of it, right? When you have visibility and you have all of those onlookers looking on, as well as officiating.
Right.
Let's be truthful. It puts the officials into that same climate, the best of the best.
Can't wait to hear you guys call it. You don't get much of a break coming out of the World Juniors.
Cheers! Bring it on, James.
I can't get in on the scene.
Hey, boss, I'll get you out. Here, Red Bull. Huh? It gives you wings.
Wings? Very funny.
Our hero Paul loves to help others, but today he's helping protect himself against pneumococcal pneumonia, which can put you in the hospital. He got the Prevnar 20 vaccine. Yes, even heroes should think protection. Ask about Prevnar 20 today.
Across the nation, the Canadian Hockey League is known for investing in moments like this. But did you know we're also investing in this and this? While you're probably used to seeing us here, we're also here and here. Through the CHL Scholarship Program, clubs award nearly $10 million each year, helping thousands of former players continue their education. So while you're seeing this, we're also doing this. The CHL, developing tomorrow's leaders.
The first intermission was brought to you by Destination Moncton Dieppe.
Here's your first period scoring summary. Yep, that'll do it for that. Shots 9-6 Cechia. Both teams had a power play in the first period. The goaltenders were fine, but it was more the guys in front of them.
Yeah, both teams played really well defensively. No surprise there, but they do it in different ways because the teams are trying to attack in different ways, and they were both good in the areas they needed to be good in to defend well. And for the Czechs, that means in the neutral zone, tight gaps, good six, back pressure, layer support, trying to turn as many pucks over as possible in the neutral zone to allow yourself to maybe counterattack. Don't let Sweden get that speed transition game going, and the Czechs did a nice job of that. And for Sweden, probably more being challenged in their own end physically around the boards, protecting the front of the net, blocking shots, making sure that when Czechs gets in the offense zone, they stay to the outside. And when you have a scoreless game, both teams doing exactly what they need to do so far defensively.
Swedes are trying to win a gold medal for the first time since 2012 in Calgary when they beat Russia 1-0 in overtime in the gold medal game. That was Mika Zibanejad with a golden goal. They outshot the Russians 39-4 in the first two periods, 58-17 in the game.
And it ended 1-0.
Yes.
Who's in net for Russia? That's quite a performance.
Go Sweden!
And what we've learned about both these teams so far, Gord, is that they'll be patient. Like, they're both comfortable playing games like this. They're not going to start chasing and cheating to create offense.
Right. I'm trying to remember if Vasilevsky or Makarov in that gold medal game. They pulled Vasilevsky in the semifinal against Canada.
Yeah, he was a bust.
It was Makarov. Yeah. They pulled him with 5 minutes to go in the third period.
That's tough.
In a one-goal game.
That's tough.
Move back down to the Swedish zone, icing called against Czechia. And you look at Sweden's results, and I mean, they dominate the preliminary round since 2008, 60-4. But this is where it's come off the rails for them.
So what's more unlikely? The crazy good record in the preliminary round, or the fact that they are under 500 in the semis? It feels like they can't correspond. If your team's good enough to win all those games, they got to be good enough to win more semifinal. And I think the kids at this point, even though they have nothing to do with previous failures, feel the pressure.
Beefhead shoots. And Sohanek makes the stop on that. Those players were 4 or 5 years old when that 08 streak began, but it becomes part of the narrative. And Mike, you played for the Toronto Maple Leafs. You get asked, all the time about the 1967 and the long playoff droughts. And
right. I wasn't alive when that started, so why would it bother me? But it becomes part of something that is in your consciousness because it is brought up all the time. So these Swedish players, they know about the past struggles in this moment. And they're trying to, work through that for themselves and for the history books as well.
Norén shoots, and Sohanek makes the stop on that. Last gold medal game appearance for Sweden was in the 2018 tournament. Buffalo lost the gold medal game to Canada. All right, down the ice, Lindblom out to play and thought about. Oh, look how he's poke checked there by Melash. Wraparound try, and Lindblom had to be careful there. Got a little casual with that. Svozil a long shot, and that's gloved by Lindblom. And now some late pushing and shoving breaks out. Well then.
Not exactly sure what Lindblom was thinking about here. He's not sure where to put it. I thought he was going to pass it up the middle at this point, but he absolutely does not see Melash come and poke it off him. He's got no idea he is there, and he get bailed out by his defenseman, Pettersson's quick stick, because there was room on the wraparound for Melash. If he doesn't get defended by Pettersson, leave the stick quickly on the ice to take that wrap away.
That would be an awful way to give up the game's first goal.
No, Lindblom's been solid at playing the puck. He makes a lot of good decisions. Just
he's a Vegas 7th round pick. He was the 222nd player pick in that draft. Only 2 players were picked after him.
2 picks away from Mr. Irrelevant.
He was told when he went to Vegas's prospect camp, they said, "You're in this room. It doesn't matter where you were picked. You're in a National Hockey League dressing room."
It's a great way to phrase it. And for anyone but first rounders, that's probably true. You basically all get judged accordingly. Sometimes first rounders get a little extra look, get a little extra attention. But if you're 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, does not matter. Play well enough, you stick. If you don't, you won't.
And if you can convert 6th and 7th round picks, that is
found money.
Absolutely. If you look at great NHL teams, Stanley Cup championship teams, for the most part, they have lots of players they pick after the first round, in addition to high first round picks. That shot bounded away from Svozil. Ostman had it knocked away by Spacek. Janssen for Ogren sweeps it down. Sohanek out to play it. Back around the boards to Sturz. And Ostman picks it back up. Ostman lines that back to Elias Pettersson. Now Janssen, a long shot, scores! Ludwig Janssen strikes again, and Sweden takes a 1-0 lead.
Ludwig Janssen comes into the game as Sweden's leading goal scorer in the tournament, and you can see why. An absolute rocket from the point. He's on his offside, so he's able to one-time this puck up and over, and that somehow finds a way through Melash, who's right in the right spot. You couldn't get this through these legs. Oh my goodness, right through his legs, right over the shoulder of Suhanek. And Janssen's great tournament continues.
And against the Czechs, too. He had 2 goals in the preliminary round meeting, including the overtime winner. So 4 goals. You mentioned he has the Swedish lead. He had 1 goal this year in 25 games in the Allsvenskan, the Swedish second league for Södertälje. That shooting goes off the glass and out.
So we come into the game talking so much about the Czechs' defense and how they provide offense, and it's Janssen, the best offensive defenseman for Sweden, and you can see why that's a hard pickup for Suhanek. You know, he's sliding over. You don't expect the puck to be able to go through the shot blocker and over your shoulder. The angles make it very difficult. Just got a piece of the jersey, but not enough.
Janssen turned 19 on December 27th. And Lysell trying to bump that ahead, knocked away by Sapochek. Lysell bumps that back across. Now Moravec knocks it away. The Czechs in an unusual position of playing from behind. They haven't had to do it much. Trailed Canada early in their opener. Here's Moravec with it. And although the Swedes are much more aggressive than they were, say, 20 years ago,
they can trap it up with the best of them still.
They can still defend. Side of the goal, so Hanek gets the blocker down and knocks that away from Bistad.
It really is a textbook start for Sweden. Good defense in the first period. Limit what the other team is trying to do. Don't play in your own end too much. Be opportunistic when you can be, as Janssen was on a one-timer, that seeing eye shot that gets all the way through. And now just tighten up defensively like they can.
Janssen's a 4th round pick, as we mentioned, the Florida Panthers in the most recent NHL draft. Unacek up from Mahura, banks that back to center ice. Sandin Pellikka has it back, and now Leo Carlsson's heading to the Swedish bench. He got clipped with a stick there.
So a follow through is the referee's indication.
So the IHF changed their rule book to merge with the NHL, so the follow through of a shot or a pass is not considered high sticking.
And got him right in the nose, leaking a little bit. Graydon Hamilton making it very clear, though, that he felt it was a follow through. Oh, it's an elbow. No, it's not even a stick. Yeah, incidental contact. Mahura spinning around, doesn't even see him coming. Not outstretching the body or anything like that. Just tough break for the nose of Karlsson.
Will Karlsson, a pair of goals in Sweden's quarterfinal win over Finland.
Now, all you can hope is that he doesn't have to play with one of those things stuck up his nose, because that would be hard to breathe.
Is that the technical term for that thing?
I do have a PhD, yes. Gauze of some kind.
It's gauze, isn't it? Something or other.
Because I wouldn't want to try to play when you can't breathe normally. Well, there it goes. Too bad for you.
Face off, won by Marcel. Here's Mahura with it. Boy, Czechs came close early in this period, but Lindblom misplayed the puck, and moments later the Swedes get their first goal. The long shot, a seeing eye shot by Ludwig Janssen. Unacek out to center right, trying to find Mahura. That's picked up by Elias Pettersson, who assisted on that goal along with Noah Ostlund. And Hauser has it back for Cechia. Slides that back to Cechia. Wide pass to Hauser, trying to find Shapovalov moving in. Shapovalov Drops it back. Hauser missed on the one-timer. Spacek has it back. Drops it back to Skozil. That shot goes off the line. Oscar Roberts and Hauser got his stick in and took down Elias Pettersson. And now Cechia is going to be short-handed as Peter Hauser goes off.
The hook going to be made on Hauser.
Cechia 17, minor penalty for hooking.
Big Elias Pettersson goes down. Does he get his stick into the feet? Not so much in the feet, but across the hips. And Pettersson goes down. And Sweden back to the power play. And this is where, listen, your power play hasn't been good all tournament if you're Sweden. You need it in moments like this, could really make an impact on the game with a good power play here.
Hey, Leo Carlsson, would you rather stay on the bench for this power play?
No, I think I'm good. Breathing's fine. Vision's good. Good to go. Oh, he's got him in both.
Oh. The officials keeping an eye on him here.
You're not really allowed to be bleeding. That was close.
That
is out.
That's out, and that's going to be a 5-on-3 for Sweden for 1 minute and 55 seconds. The officials conferring.
Wow. Shapovalov trying to say, I was hit in the face.
Team Cechia, minor penalty, delay a game.
So 5-on-3 Sweden.
So scrum draw. Shapovalov's looking to clear it. Oh my goodness. Karamaki gets his stick inside the visor of Shapovalov. Now all the referees were facing the puck. Shapovalov was facing the board, but that should have been a minor for over the glass as well as a minor for high stick. Should be coincidental. Big break for Sweden.
So 5-on-3 for the Swedes. Oscarson wins that faceoff so cleanly, goes back down to the Swedish zone. And now the Czechs really tested. You mentioned it. 1 power play goal allowed on 18 opposition attempts, including the first period. And advantage for Sweden. Janssen winds that back down to Lysell. To Janssen. Oscarson parked in front. Janssen drops it off. Lysell trying to swing that rink wide. Brabenet's got a stick on it. Here's Lysell. Works that back to Janssen. Throws it back down to Lysell. Carlson. Lysell. Janssen. Looks back down to Lysell. Back to Janssen. Feeds it across. Roseanne, a shot. Johanna got a piece of that and knocked it wide.
Tighten up there. He's a little wide. Stay inside the dot if you're Roseanne. Don't leak towards the boards.
Robinet's got a stick on that. Roseanne to Lysell. Drops it back. Janssen with a look. Feeds it back across. Roseanne fires again. Johanna to stop. That's hacked down the ice by Brabenec.
See, when he starts drifting out too wide, it gives Suhanik time to get across. You got to stay tighter so that pass is shorter.
Czech's got a fresh forward on the ice. 45 seconds to go in the first penalty. Lysell drops it back to Sandin Pellikka. Feeds across. A hard drop by Bistad. Stopped by Suhanik. And a move back down the ice by Alice Czech that bounced into the Swedish bench. And the face-off is going to go back down to the Czech zone.
So not a ton of movement by Sweden. They're basically trying to roll it up top and then slide it over to Roseanne for a one-timer. But you see how he's outside the face-off dot? That's kind of a marker. Yeah, when it hits Czech and bounces through. But when he's so far over there, whether it's the shot blocker or the goaltender, it's not a tough save to make in a timeout here for Sweden to rest their guys. You got to just narrow your passing lanes to give yourself a better chance to score.
Their first period power play didn't generate much of anything. No shots.
No. And while Roseanne's a good shooter, and that's not a bad option, they haven't really explored anything else but that lateral pass and a shot. So one more look at this penalty. Karamaki gets his stick inside the visor, a little bit from the fall through of the backhand. But that puck is over the glass, so it should be a penalty no matter what. And Karamaki should have a penalty, but there is no referee along the boards to see it because he just dropped the puck.
Except Shapovalov's stick caused.
Doesn't matter. You are responsible for your own stick. If someone lifts your stick into my face, you still are responsible for where your stick goes. Should have been a penalty.
So 34 seconds left in the first penalty.
Oh, and he lost the face-off.
Yeah, big face-off win there for Gabriel Sturz. Plays for Cologne in the Western League, so that'll take some more time off the clock. Here's Janssen with it. Ludwig Janssen. Up for Liesel. Fabian Liesel. Drops it back to Janssen. Rosén. Back to Janssen. Liesel. It's almost like the Swedes are trying to pass the puck into the net. Liesel. Winds that back to Rosén. Rosén works it and shoots. Suchanek makes the stop. Knocked down by Janssen. Hauser set to come on. It's moved back out, back down the Swedish zone. 4 shots on goal in the 5-on-3. The Swedes come up empty. It remains a 1-0 game. And that's a big boost to the Czechs. As Rosén comes in, moved off the puck. Svozil back to pick it up. Svozil. Winds through center ice. Svozil drops it back off. Goes with a long shot. And Lindblom makes the save as Rishavi was tossed down by Engstrom. And the Swedes come close with a 5-on-3 chance. It remains a 1-0 game here in the second period.
It calls you to a place with no boundaries, where the trail ends and the beyond begins. The 2023 Chevrolet Silverado ZR2 is ready. Are you?
This place is
the Mushroom Kingdom.
Hello.
Your brother is landed in the Darklands. They're under Bowser's control.
A mustachioed human has arrived in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Do you know him?
Do you think I know every human being with a mustache wearing an identical outfit with the letter of his first name on it? Because I don't.
Don't miss Dwayne Johnson in the action blockbuster critics call a blast with jaw-dropping visuals. Black Adam, now streaming on Crave. Face off in the Swedish zone. They're up 1-0. Goal by defenseman Ludwig Janssen. Rink wide pass to Simone Robertson. Robertson peels back. Drops it down to Wagner. He's bumped off the puck hard by Marcel. Marcel is not a small young man. Simone Robertson shoots. It goes off a leg. Hauser chops at it, but kept alive by Engstrom. Now Marcel brings it up. Marcel plays for Gatineau in the Quebec League. His billets were here the first week. They've had to go back home now. So his biggest supporters have left the building.
We had a lot of fun watching his billet family watch him score a goal, have it called back. Although he had a really good game in the quarterfinals.
Now they told me they were going home, but they were trying to work out some sort of way to stay.
What a commitment that is for families to take in athletes for the year and really become part of your family.
Builds lifelong relationships. Lots of players. We've had players go in the Hall of Fame invited their billets to come to their ceremony. Lindblom played that high off the glass. Morayan had the lane sealed there by Shala. Goes the other way. And played back out by Stromgren. Rattled back in. Shala goes after it. Edward Shala, the 17-year-old. On the top line for Cechia. Shapovalov. Brings that back to Hamarov. That deflected wide. Moravec jumped up. He fell. Now brought up by Noah Ostlund. Buffalo first-round pick of the most recent NHL draft, Ostlund. Slides that back in. Looking for Ogren. Bouncing puck knocked away. Moved by Pettersson and back to center ice. Moravec will stay here in Halifax at the conclusion of the tournament and resume his season with the Mooseheads. Kulik works in. Long shot. Lindblom makes the stop with Brabinets. Looking for a loose puck, and Oscar Pettersson got into the grill. Brabinets, I think they might take Pettersson for sure here. Not sure if Brabinets is going with him.
And if you were Sweden, you had to know, be smart. Don't give the refs any. They missed one. to give you a 5-on-3. Don't give them any reason to pull you out of a pile or give you a hook or a hold. And Pettersson, like, what's his problem with Rabbits there? Rabbits didn't do anything. And it looks like the officials are...
They're going to take them both.
Take them both, which they probably should.
Team Sweden, number 27. Team Czechia, number 12. 2 minutes each for roughing. 4-on-4.
The conversation continues in the penalty box. They go back and forth. So maybe some 4-on-4 will open things up a little bit for the Czechs, who've been stuck in the mud in the second period so far.
Oscar Pettersson in the box jumped 33 spots in the final ranking for Central Scouting for the midterm. Picked by Ottawa in the 3rd round of the most recent NHL draft. Off the draw, Juracek drops it back to Hutchik, a long shot. And Lindbaum makes the glove save on that.
Lindbaum doesn't mind staring those ones down. Yes, it's a hard shot, but as long as you can see it, and look at the job that Sweden does, tying up sticks and trying to get bodies out of there. As Malash gets up in the air to try to get out of the way. He will make the save if he can see it.
Sweden had a 1-goal lead on Czechia in the second period of the round-robin game. Hutchik scored the tying goal late in the 3rd period to force overtime, and Ludvig Jansson scored the OT winner for Sweden.
Gonna put 1 second back on the clock as the for the executed drop. Gonna reset that.
So 4-on-4 here. You always feel this favors the team trailing.
Yeah, because it's easier to defend the more people you have on the ice. Now Sweden might say some of our forwards, Rosén might be happy with 4 guys out there to check him as well.
In comes Jansson with it. Jansson moves on to Hutchik. Juracek was taken down by Sternborg. Melash was tied up there by Sturz, but gathers the puck back up. And Juracek jumped right back into the rush. In comes Juracek. Shoots. It goes off a foot. And wide as Pettersson got in the way. Melash back on it. Laid behind the goal. Sturz trying to get there. He was knocked off stride. And Melash with a big hit on Elias Pettersson. Sternborg drops it off to Rosén. Rosén rink wide to Sternberg. Shoots. That's off the stick of Juracek. Up and out of play.
At this point, Sweden's wondering, or the Czechs are wondering, hang on, what do we got to do to get a high stick and call to go our way? As Shapovalov was hit with a high stick, it was missed on a penalty call, and here Sturz take Rosén's stick right in the side of the head as well, and that should have been a penalty, which would be a 4-on-3 for Czechia going the other way. So a couple breaks going the Swedes' way right now.
Easthead wins that face-off back to Sjöholm. Back across to Engström. Long shot by Engström, got through, so had it down. Hanged on that shot by Adam Engström, the Montreal 3rd-round pick.
Engström's had a good tournament for Sweden. Solid, steady. He finds a way to get this one through the shot blocker, and Easted's all by himself. Spacek's trying to play goal himself, misses it with his glove. So if Bistad could touch that, he would be in business.
Centering pass by Bistad was knocked away. At the point is Engström. Pivots away from Coast, but now has to go back to center ice. Here is Sjöholm with it. 50 seconds to go on the 4-on-4. Carlson drops it back to Engström. And lead pass by Svozil finds Rishavi. Rink wide, he goes to Coast. Here comes Coast. Shields off Sjöholm. Rishavi comes in to help out. It goes back to the point to Spacek. Back across to Svozil. Svozil back to Spacek. Walks in and shoots. That was blocked. Rebound. Coast couldn't reach it. And now Svozil can't hold the line for Cechia. Spacek back with it. And Rishavi throws up the center ice. Svozil gathers it back up. Lead pass. Missed Mahura, and the faceoff will come back down to the Czech zone with 6 seconds to go in the 4-on-4.
In that 4-on-4, Sweden's able to clog the neutral zone, make it hard for Czechs to string passes together, force another icing. Czechia struggling to kind of get the offensive game going. Haven't been able to get much off the rush. Having a hard time breaking down Sweden on the forecheck.
Came in tied with Canada for most goals scored so far.
No shortage of offense the last little few games.
Spot check. Off the face-off win. Out come Oscar Pettersson and Jakob Brabenitz. We're back to 5-on-5. Midway point of the second period. Marcel had that pass go off his skate. Ostlund flips it back in. Knocked down by Svozil. Crossy goes to Spacek. Snaps that pass in. Chipped in by Marcel. He goes hunting for the puck. Lindblom knocked that away from the on-rushing Marcel. Here he is back with it. They're going to call a hand pass against Czechia. 9:40 to go here in the second period. Sweden with a 1-0 lead in the semifinals against Czechia.
Come on over. Bring your appetite. Bring a friend. Bring a few. Our home is your home. Let us give you the tour. Then you can relax. And a little later, we'll even put on a show. New Brunswick, always inviting.
I was lured by their promises of retiring wealthier. But when I saw my returns, well, I guess that's why I never heard them talk about performance. With RBC, I'm back to feeling confident.
With Eastside Mario's all you can eat, you manja, manja, manja.
Oh, Pop, they got more salad. Oh, Pop, they got more soup. Oh, Pop, they got more garlic home loaf. Manja, mama, manja. Hey, bada boo, bada bing.
And Bernard holds the line. Bernard back with it. Slides in again. Bernard talks right in. Overtime winner sends Canada to the semis. The way 16 cameras saw it in the quarterfinals, and tonight Canada and the United States, 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. Our coverage starts as that epic rivalry is renewed. Both teams suffered upset losses in the preliminary round. The Americans beaten by Slovakia. Canada beaten by Czechia. Two good teams with players that know each other well. The under-18s and elsewhere. Janssen up ahead to Wagner. Chips that back down to the Czech zone as Moravec goes back. Shapovalov. Up ahead to Kulik. That pass for Shala just out of his reach. He goes, Engstrom who knocked that away, but Shala goes back to pick it up for Kulik. Engstrom holds again. This time Shapovalov steps into him. Ostlund comes back, goes off a leg, bounces back in front, and Moravec holds the line, fans on the shot. Wagner moving in now with Ogren. Wagner shoots, Sensor Haddock knocks that away. 8:45 to go in the second. Winner of this game will play in the gold medal game tomorrow night. The loser will play for bronze in the afternoon.
Both teams unwilling to commit anyone into a dangerous spot going forward. Always bodies back in the neutral zone, erring on the side of caution.
Melash sweeps that in. Sturz trying to work that free and does for Brabenitz. Brabenitz got tied up. Now brought up by Oscar Pettersson. He's got Simone Robertson with him, and Pettersson banks that back down to the Czechia zone. Robertson on it. Up there by Jiricek. Puck was at the side of the goal, and Robertson couldn't quite reach it. Brabenitz. Sturz up for Jiricek, who's jumped in. He's got Melash with him. In comes Melash. Goes around the official and Morayan, and Melash slides that back. Long shot wristed wide by Czech. Jiricek moves up. Goes out through the crease, and now Czech walks up, shoots, and it's off the stick of Oscar Pettersson and high. Here's Brabenitz back with it. Brabenitz drops it off to Jiricek. Jiricek moves in, feeds across, and that pass handcuffed Brabenitz. Now Brabenitz back with it. Jakob Brabenitz plays in Charlottetown to get back late. Looks down the coast. Picked up by Rishavi. Long time in the offensive zone here for Czechia. Rishavi hangs that back to Svozil. Looks across to Spacek. Spacek to Svozil. That pass rolled off his stick, and a chance now for Oscar Pettersson. Looking for Robertson, and Svozil knocked that away.
Say long stretch, but not anything of consequence for the Czechs. Just having a hard time breaking down Sweden. You can see the communication and the reads have been right on point for Sweden so far.
Sapocek knocked that back into the Swedish zone, but Pettersson throws it right back in front to Janssen. Lead pass to Lysell. Lysell goes in on Spacek. And Rysavy gets a stick on him. Sapocek got clipped to behind the play. He's heading off. Well, Pettersson banks it back, but knocked down by Rysavy. He's going to wait for Mahura to tag back up. And Janssen lost the puck to Marcel. Lindholm, the Swedish goalie, doesn't have a stick. As Roseanne moves up, and now Lindholm will gather it back up. Roseanne in behind the goal, lost the handle. And now brought out by Hamara. Lead pass to Marcel. Marcel moves in. Steps around Engstrom. Pivots back, falls. And now Hauser came in to help out, but Wagner got a stick on the puck for Sweden. Inside 6 to go in the second period. Sjöholm lifts that back down to the Cechia zone. Back goes Hamara for it. Being watched by Carlson. Moravec. Up for Hauser. And Hauser banks it back down. Hamara goes the other way for Kulik. He's got a step on Sjöholm. Kulik moves in a rolling puck. He fired that wide. And back the other way comes Sweden. Beasted along with Carlson. Drop for Carlson misfired. He throws it rink wide off the bench. Comes Stromgren. Stromgren back to Noran. Lifts that wide. Carlson leaves it there for Stromgren. Now loose in front. Beasted on his shot blocked by the stick of Kulik. Beasted shoots again. Johannek gloves it down and keeps the play going as the Swedes are changing. Long shot fired down. Lindholm's got to play it as Shella had beaten the icing call. Now Shapovalov with it. Throws that back to Jiricek. Cross it goes to the hot check. And Ostlund picks it back up for Sweden. Ogren had that pass knocked away by the hot check. And it bounces back to center ice. William Ogren was the captain of that Swedish team that won gold at the under-18s last spring. Plays for Djurgården in the Swedish Allsvenskan, the second league. Neither's marquee franchise in Stockholm, Djurgården or AIK, is currently in the Swedish Hockey League. They're both in the Allsvenskan. Ostlund had to take away by Brabinets. And Lindholm quickly gathers that. Czechs pushing for the equalizer. Kulik couldn't get the puck to sit. It remains 1-0 Sweden.
I was tempted by the idea of simple investing, but I really missed RBC's expertise. I guess a one-size-fits-all approach might work for some, not me. Now I'm back to the personalized advice I need.
Crosby with a little room to operate. Crosby snaps it. He scores. Passes in front to Kane on the low. Score! Short-handed on a breakaway. Brown on his feet. McDavid scores. Bennett circling in that bouncing butt. He scores. Nathan McKinnon. Bedard to bring him up for Regina. 1-on-2. Step by the defenseman. And then at the deke, and he scores. Does it get any better than that? Oh my.
1-0 Sweden right now, courtesy of Ludvig Jansson's goal. We shouldn't be surprised because he likes playing against Czechia. In the round robin, he had 2, including the overtime winner, and then opened the scoring in what has been an incredibly tight checking game so far.
Really not much for scoring chances either way, and certainly not much in terms of sustained pressure by either team.
I think that's a credit to the defense more than an indictment of the offense. It's not like Czechia hasn't scored a whole bunch in this tournament.
Pettersson pivoting back. Melosh got a stick on him. Brabinets trying to play that back, but the pass was blocked by Sternborg. Lysell. Up by Brabinets, brings it back, rink wide for Sternborg. The unlikely hero of the quarterfinal who scored the short-handed game winner late in the third period to propel Sweden past Finland. Sturz moves it back out. Roseanne knocked that away. Now Roseanne back with it for Sandin Pellikka. Back across to Engstrom.
Get there, get there.
Engstrom keeping center ice and wrist that back down. Waiting for disposal. It skipped away from him. He got his back up. And Sturts moves it ahead. Disposal. Plays it back around. Spot check. Up ahead for Melash, who plays it back to center ice. And Engstrom lifts it right back in. Leo Carlson. And got knocked down by Wagner. Picked back up by Carlson. Slides that back to Engstrom. Fan of the shot. Now Coast knocked it away. Sapochak. Try to knock that free. And now Pedersen has to retreat as he got Coast bearing in on him. Coast blows a tire. Pedersen back for Bistad. Bistad holds. Drops that back and missed. And now Marcel on his horse. But Lekkerimäki comes back and takes that away. Here's Marcel. Janssen lifts it back down. Back goes Jiricek. And Marcel with it. Up ahead to Cechia. And Cechia gains center ice, flips out ahead. Mahura goes after it. Bumps into Sandin Pellikka. Puck loose in the corner, sent back in front. Ostlund takes that away. Ostlund winds his way through the Czech forecheckers. And now Lekkerimäki. Tried twice to bang that by Hamara, but Hamara plays it back down the Swedish zone. Now Sandin Pellikka will try his luck. And a 5-man picket fence in red blocked his attack. Hauser. Back to center ice. Marcel trying to poke it in. Robertson gets spilled there by Hauser. Hauser back with it. Slides that back down to the Swedish zone. Engstrom goes back as Kulik worked it on him. Simon Robertson has it knocked down. Shapovalov works it free. Shapovalov a backhand pass in front, just missed Kulik. Hamara looks down to Shapovalov. Inside 90 seconds to go in the second period. Robertson fires it back down. Savannah couldn't reach it. Oscar Pedersen pivots back. Kulik. Lead pass to Shala. In comes Shala. And Elias Pedersen defends that well and brings the puck back out. Rosen. Up for Lysell. There's been one shot on goal in the last 9 minutes. Now, I saw the worst hockey game ever played in person. Now a chance back in front. Shapovalov turned away. Rebound to Hutch. Got a block. That was the gold medal game in 2000 in Skellefteå, Sweden. Czechs and Russia. Scoreless to regulation in a full overtime. Czechs won in a shootout. And I think they dumped it in a couple of times in the shootout. This isn't that bad.
Well, Czechs will stay patient. Plenty of time left for them to just find one.
Sturts plays it back down as time winds down. Here's Sandin Pellikka will go back with it. And Spacek has to retreat to gather it back up. 10 seconds to go in the period. Spacek. Lead pass to Provenance, who lifts it back down to the Swedish zone. Lindboe rattles it back around. And the Swedes get the only goal of the game so far. It comes from defenseman Ludvig Janssen.
They got my attention with all their talk about fees. But hey, fees don't tell the whole story. The tools and support that I get with RBC is what really matters to me. I'm in charge of my investing decisions and feeling confident.
An evening in front of the fire can be so relaxing, but dangerous creosote buildup can cause a chimney fire if not removed. Help protect your home with CSL, the chimney sweeping log. It helps clean your chimney while it burns. Inside your chimney walls, there's a constant buildup of flammable tar and creosote. The active minerals in CSL will reduce those dangerous deposits, making your next fire safer. It's so easy. Burn just once every 60 fires. CSL, the chimney sweeping log.
CSL is available at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and Walmart.
Hey, boss, I'll get you out. Here, Red Bull. It gives you wings.
Wings? Very funny.
Feel the rush when the world arrives in Brampton this April.
The 2023 IIHF Women's World Championship is coming to the CAA Center.
Canada is the reigning world and Olympic champions, so this is going to be a tournament you don't want to miss.
Your best chance to see Team Canada is to sign up for the priority ticket list. All the games, all the teams, all the excitement.
Don't wait. Sign up now at hockeycanada.ca.
The world is waiting.
You keep her alive, and you set everything right.
The president needs men of action.
Bend the rules. You trust me?
I'm going to build something better, meaner, wilder. I love it here. I love it!
Would you be interested in having an affair?
Back in Halifax for your second intermission, the Canadian fans getting set for later on Canada-USA. But right now they're watching the Swedes with a 1-0 lead. Ludwig Janssen, the Florida fourth rounder, having the offensive tournament of his life. He's with Kenzie Lalonde.
Ludwig, how would you evaluate your team's play in the first 40 minutes?
I mean, we're playing great. Stick to the game plan, and I mean, we don't give the Czech team any chances, and keep doing what I've said before the game.
You found a lane to the net. You have the lone goal in this game. What did you see on the play?
No, great pass, and then I just try to rip it as fast as I can, and then it went in again.
It's been 5 years since Sweden has played for gold. What would it mean to you and your group to move on?
I mean, of course, a lot. I mean, this is like these 2 games is what we have fight for this month, and I mean, I would love to do it with these guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Back with Cheryl Pounder and Bob McKenzie. So here's a guy who has 1 goal in 25 games in the Swedish second division. Defensive defenseman, and suddenly has 4 in 6 games, less a period in the World Juniors. So what's suddenly happening?
I don't know. I was a defensive defender, and that never happened to me. So I want to go talk to him. No, he's had a real great tournament, no question about it. 4 goals, 4 assists, and he's really working the offensive blue line very effectively. He's got great mobility on the line, and he's finding ways to get the puck through. Now, this puck goes low to ice. Nice little evasive move to track it high. There's a lot of white ice there. It's a one-timer, but it has seeing eyes and just goes off of the shoulder of Suhanek. And you can see how everyone is excited after this one, because really there hasn't been much of anything in this game until that point. Again, just earlier in the tournament, you can see against Cechia, he gets one there on the offensive blue line. This is the overtime winner, the heel-to-heel, and then take the ice in front of the net to go on the backhand. But this is the skating and the mobility that I was talking about. When you get to the offensive blue line, you have to be able to walk it many different ways to open up your lane. So, D out there, sometimes it's the simple play that winds up going to the back of the net.
Well, a couple of those you can see from a defensive defenseman just throwing it on net. The shot tonight was good, but that overtime one against Cechia, that was some skill. Now, the game could well be over when you have a 2-minute, essentially 5-on-3. One of the least maybe creative 5-on-3s and effective that we've seen, especially from a team and a group that's usually very creative.
Yeah, a real missed opportunity for Sweden, and a situation for Cechia where it could be the blessing that they need, although they haven't been able to build on the momentum of killing that up. But I didn't love the calls. I mean, even the initial call that they got, hooking, sticks kind of on the hip, but I think that guy just blew a tire. And here's the one where Shapovalov puts it up into the stands, but a clear missed call by the referee on the stick to his face. And they didn't really generate a lot, and they had 4 shots on goal on 1 minute and 55 seconds of 2-man advantage, and they even called a timeout in the midst of it to get their best shooters out there. And they really didn't generate, really push the Czech goalie at all. So that's a real missed opportunity for Sweden. And if Cechia comes back, they're going to look back on that one and say what a missed opportunity it was. Flip side is, as I said, Cechia really didn't seem to build any momentum off of that. It's a real slog out there trying to get anything going.
Yeah, we were up here, and I kept saying with that power play, they're shrinking the zone, but the flank was really wide. You heard Mike Johnson talk about it, and then, you know, that gives the goaltender an opportunity to read exactly where it's coming from in terms of the shot, being able to read it. You have to really take advantage of 2-on-1 situations. You got so much ice out there available to you, and they really shrunk the zone, didn't get anything off of it, but both sides looking pretty hesitant right now.
Yeah, there's not a lot going on out there, especially the last 10 minutes of that second period. We'll see if the Czechs try to open things up, looking for the equalizer when we get into the third period. But before we get there, we will get you set for Canada, USA. Jeff O'Neill will join us, and the panel will preview the best rivalry in international hockey.
Canada Drives is the easiest way to sell or trade a car. Simply enter a few details online and get an instant offer that is valid for 7 days. So you can think it over. If you like our offer, we'll come pick up your vehicle and you'll get paid. Canada Drives can even pay off any existing loans. We take care of everything. No hassle, no lowball offers. It's the smarter, safer way to sell or trade a car. It's Canada Drives.
An evening in front of the fire can be so relaxing, but dangerous creosote buildup can cause a chimney fire if not removed. Help protect your home with CSL, the chimney sweeping log. It helps clean your chimney while it burns. Inside your chimney walls, there's a constant buildup of flammable tar and creosote. The active minerals in CSL will reduce those dangerous deposits, making your next fire safer. It's so easy. Burn just once every 60 fires. CSL, the chimney sweeping log.
CSL is available at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and Walmart.
It's about more than the goals they score. It's about life skills they learn. It's about friends they make. It's about their love for hockey. None of it would be possible without the assist you can provide. The Hockey Canada Foundation Assist Fund is breaking down barriers to get Canadian youth on the ice and in the game. Every child deserves the chance to play. Donate now at hockeycanadafoundation.ca.
Name?
Special Agent Will Trent.
He just brought down a bunch of corrupt cops. That's kind of hot.
Will's my best agent. He can teach you to see things no one else does.
There's a kidnapping.
Why Will Trent?
He read that crime scene like a book.
You smell like urine to you?
When people call you weird, I really do defend you. But you gotta help me out.
An all-new episode of Will Trent, Tuesday at 10/8 Mountain, only on CTV. Stream on all your favorite devices.
Getting started here. Catch your favorite CHL stars in action next Friday on TSN. The Oshawa Generals and Kitchener Rangers take to the ice at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Don't miss TSN's expert analysis and CHL insight all season long. So Canada's only lost to the U.S. 12 times in 48 games at the World Juniors, but 5 of those losses have come in the last 6 games, which really is the only relevant part of the stat. The Americans have caught up in junior hockey, and those include gold medal showdowns in 2017 and 2021. As we welcome Jeff O'Neill to the panel. So it's going to be a simple question. What does Canada have to do to reverse that trend? I'm going to make one rule, kind of like the old Gretzky rule in hockey pools. You can't pick Connor Bedard. This is a Bedard-free conversation. How does Canada beat the Americans?
That almost sounds like a quiz question.
Kind of.
You got rules now, and the answer is obvious. If it can't talk Connor Bedard, well, duh, it's everybody else. Or in this particular case, everybody who doesn't play with Connor Bedard, or even who doesn't play with Shane Wright or Dylan Guenther on that first line, top 2 lines. You need much more. If you're the coach of Team Canada, you need much more from the 3rd and 4th lines. Everybody was talking up this team about their depth and all the first-round picks and how it could be one of the best team candidates ever. The reason for that is because they have a couple of first-round picks, Nathan Gaucher and Zach Dean, on their third line. They've got Caden Bankier, a fourth-line center who's got 20 goals in 24 games for the Kamloops Blazers. There's so much offensive depth on this team, but we didn't really see it against Slovakia, where it almost got to be a two-line team with Wright's line and Bedard's line going out, and then the other third and fourth line just kind of being spliced in here and there. If you're going to beat the Americans, they've got to get back to having a four-line attack.
Yeah, and it's the arsenal and how it's deployed, but all four lines, if they are consistent and they're heavy on the forecheck, I'm going to say it again, be heavy on the forecheck, you know that they have a ton of skill. But if they can get below that goal line, they can play extremely tough and be on the puck, hound it all over the ice, above it and close quickly. They're going to get that sustained offensive zone time, and they're going to be able to really work down low. When they can work down low, then they can move the puck. And when they get motion in the offensive zone in particular, they create so many things. And that's when they have their speed, that's when they're physical, that's when they can get net front, and that's where they can have that great play. They can shrink the zone, they can tighten it up, all of those things, but that's where they get their scoring chances off of. When they're working hard, they're retrieving the puck, and they're finding different avenues to take it to the net, and all four lines can contribute effectively in that way.
Jimmy, I was never really a detailed guy.
You still are, bud.
Well, I am now at this job. But Canada's details have to be dialed in all aspects of the hockey game. The USA, they're a big, strong team, and Cheryl mentioned the forecheck. The USA love to forecheck. So the wingers, they got to get in on their own forecheck for Canada, but they got to help the D out in their own zone. The cycle game for the USA is very strong, and their D-men are very active. So all phases, when you have an evenly matched game out there, it can come down to one thing. Somebody has a bad line change, a bad power play, goaltender makes a gap. It could come down to the smallest detail, and that's the pressure of sport. A big-time matchup against a big-time opponent, knowing every time you step on the ice, you could have an impact on the game, positive or negative.
I wonder, to Bob's point, if all these guys who are all stars on their own teams, where all the other players look to them in the big games, that they're kind of doing what we are and watching Bedard and expecting Bedard to do something. And you're right, you need another hero at some point in time, you would think. Or maybe they don't.
You're right. It's quite possible that Connor Bedard will do something absolutely otherworldly again and win the game for Canada. But I got to tell you, this American team, that big first line that they've got with 3 first-round picks of their own and Luke Hughes on defense, and the Americans have been getting contributions all up and down their lineup. It's a pretty balanced attack, even though on paper it looks like it's top-heavy with Snuggerud and Cooley and Gauthier.
Yeah, and Bedard's been in on 21 of 33 Canadian goals. The American team, they say they have a plan to contain Connor Bedard. Obviously, it's top secret. Of course, the other teams have tried to do the same thing and haven't succeeded so far. Just a reminder, 6 o'clock Eastern's our pregame show. The drop of the puck comes your way just after 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific time tonight. All right, the last time you'll see Austria and Latvia, relegation game number 2. The Latvians won the first one. Second period, they're already up 1-0 and looking good in this one. Gert Sakans chases down the loose puck, and he'll finish. Latvia up 2-0. Just over a minute later, they basically put it away. Henri Ravinskis goes for a skate, finds Dans Lakmelis, 3-0 Latvia, the Boston 4th rounder counting. And then it's a Panthers 5th rounder, Sandis Vilmanis, scoring. Austria got a couple today, but Latvia wins at 4-2, so they'll be in Sweden next year, remaining on the top.
With Eastside Mario's all you can eat, you manja, manja, manja.
Oh, Pop, they got more salad. Oh, Pop, they got more soup. Oh, Pop, they got more garlic home loaf. Manja, mama, manja. Hey, bada boo, bada bing.
The record-breaking online World Juniors 50-50 is back this holiday season. Don't miss your chance to win more and give more. December 19th to January 5th. Proceeds will benefit important charitable initiatives in your community and support girls hockey programming. Go to worldjuniors5050.ca or scan the QR code on your screen to get your tickets. You could be our next lucky winner, and you can take home half the total pot in your profits. Don't miss out. Pick up your World Juniors 50-50 tickets today.
The scoring finally opened. Ludvig Janssen, the defenseman, has 4 goals to lead Sweden in the tournament. He also scored twice, including the overtime winner against Czechia in the round-robin game. A 1-0 lead after 2 periods of play. Czechs just 6 shots in that second period. So what is it? Are the Czechs having trouble, or are the Swedes giving them trouble?
The Swedes are giving them trouble. And listen, if defensive hockey is well-coached hockey, then the Swedes are incredibly well-coached, because they are putting on a clinic defensively right now and taking away everything that the Czechs want to do. A big part about playing defense is communication. And I think you see over and over Sweden really handing off coverage, communicating their assignments, no confusion, never see 2 guys covering one, and then a commitment to do it. Commitment physically, to get in the way, a commitment to battle on loose pucks, and the Czechs just have not found a way to break them down yet. Now, the good news is it's only going to take one breakdown to potentially get a good scoring chance, but so far, through 2 periods, Sweden has been about as clean as you could possibly be defensively.
And Czechia trying to end a long drought in the semifinals of this tournament. They're 2-7 all time in semifinal games. They've lost 4 in a row, including last year, but they went to the bronze medal game, which they lost to Sweden. 17 consecutive World Juniors without a medal for Czechia. Sweden has 1 gold medal in the last 40 years. They finished second 10 times in that span.
Someone's going to have a chance to do something special tomorrow. And you wonder, does Czech push right away, or do they stay with the patient game through part of the 3rd period?
Czechs have 15 shots, 10 from defensemen.
That's no way to score goals.
And you've talked about it. Lower percentage shots from back there, even though the Czechs score lots from the blue line. That's turned over. Lysell with a chance. Throws it back in front. Sternberg turned away point blank by Suhanek, who almost gifted the Swedes a goal there. Wow. Opening seconds of the 3rd period.
The way this is going, you think like that might almost be it.
Engstrom lifts up to center ice. Lysell on it. He was poke checked there by Cechia. Lysell back around to Sternborg, the Swedish captain. Lysell works out of the corner, throws that back in front. Providence got a stick on it to knock it away. And now Kulik swings that back down to the Swedish zone. He'll go off on a change. Sandin Pellikka to Noreen. That was scrambled to center ice. Brought in by Leo Carlson and knocked away by Suhanek. Another discarded neck guard on the ice. And Melash dances around it. In for Sturts. Melash bumps that back. Beasted took it away, and Sandin Pellikka's got it. Lead pass to Leo Carlson. Drops that back to Beasted. Beasted to Carlson. Winds in, trying to bank that back across to Wagner. It's broken up. Sturts. Lead pass to Sapocek. He bumps it back down to the Swedish zone. Ludvig Janssen. Lines that back ahead. Hamara with it. Hamara up for Kos. Jakob Kos shoots. That's knocked away by Lindholm. Kos gathers it back up. He got taken in by Ostlund. Now stolen back. Hamara shoots on the feet from Sapocek. And the puck goes off a stick, up and out of play.
It's been a long time since Sweden had anything remotely like a scoring chance. And right off the opening face-off, puck goes in deep. Suhanek mishandles it, and it gets out front to Stromgren. And, or sorry, Stjernborg. He just heals it. He just misses it. You cannot believe it. Sometimes it's hard to find that puck when it's coming through bodies. Anything on net would have a good chance of going in there for Stjernborg.
Swedes got a shot in the last 12 minutes of the game. Hamara shoots, rebound, skipped away from Kos. And Simon Robertson sends it back down to the Czechia zone. More events, plays it around, knocked down by Oscar Pettersson. Looks down to Simon Robertson. Benchik. That knocked away. Hamara goes back across. Moravec tries to slide that back down to the Swedish zone. Icing waved off. Sjöholm being harassed there by Menchik. And now Sjöholm around Hauser, but it's picked back up by Jiricek. Banked back down to the Swedish zone. Icing was waved again.
As he waved off on a line change there.
In comes Kulik. Shoot! Lindblom makes the save on that. Kulik has 5 goals in the tournament. Half against Austria and 2 against Switzerland.
He can really shoot it.
Now we're stolen over by Kulik. You just get the sense that one of those baubles is going to wind up in someone's net. Carlson for Lysell. Moves it and shoots. So how they going to block her on that? A good shot by Lysell. Rink wide pass for Shala. Top line back on the ice for Cechia. Elias Pettersson drops that back. Shala goes after it. Takes it away from Pettersson. Shala. Check the middle of the line change. Shala buys some time back there. He's tied up by Beasted. Sturz looks for it. Back at the point. Spot checker shot. That deflected. Loose puck in front. That's knocked away and set down the ice by Wagner. And that will be icing against the Swedes.
So the game has opened up a little bit. There's been a couple of chances. A couple of misplays by Sweden against the puck onto Kulich's stick. And Lindblom has that tendency to hold his glove up there. He cuffs that one off. And then Lysell, who's still looking for his first goal in the tournament, tries to on it with the wrister and a pretty good blocker save as well. You wonder if there will be some counterattack opportunities as the Czechs try to get more aggressive.
Robinets battles for the face-off, but it's won by Beasted. For the Beasted, a San Jose first-round pick. 27th overall in 2022. Shoots past save made by Lindblom. And Janssen plays that back in the line and skipped away from Spacek and back down the ice. That's icing against the Swedes, and the Swedes don't like that call. They thought that hit Spacek's stick.
So step one is getting the puck in the offensive zone, getting some pucks to the net. And the Czechs are doing a bit better job of that. Sturz, heavy shot there. Now the step two is to get to that loose puck. Brabinet's right on the doorstep. But this is better for the Czechs. This is getting closer to something like offensive pressure.
Sapacek out for the faceoff against Beasted. And Sapacek wins that faceoff. Shoots from a sharp angle. Lindblom kicks that away. Moravets able to hold the line right in front of the Swedish bench. 20 linesmen in gold were arguing that came out. Rishavi chips it in behind the Swedish goal. Lindblom, show him, brother. Was bumped there. Rishavi back down to Sapacek. Sapacek taking a regular shift here in the third period, which he did not do in the first two. And here's Ogren with it. Moves that back to Marcel.
Watch your stick! Watch your stick! Get it out here! Keep moving! Keep moving! Puck is loose, boys! Keep moving here!
And they finally do. Ostman throws that back. Over, taking a shot away and trickles back in front. Knocked down. Hammer with it.
Hammer's helmet's undone right now.
Chin strap's undone. That'll force him off the ice. And now fired back in by Engstrom. Moravets. Up for Marcel. That pass missed Kos. Sandin Pelika. Lead pass to Oscar Pettersson. Diagonal shooting. Juracek goes after it. Pokes that to the line, but not out. Big hit there by Hauser on a big man, Oscarson. Menchik fires it back in. Here's Hauser after it. Hauser is looking back to Juracek. Goes the other way instead. Menchik throws that through the crease. Lindblom gets a stick on that. And it goes up and out.
So the shoot from anywhere philosophy has been imparted for Czechs as they are taking all kinds of tight angle looks on Lindblom, hoping to get a break or a rebound. And one way to break down defensive zone coverages, as this one I think got into the thighs of Oscarson, didn't like that one. Oh, little pop from the bench from Hamara.
Oh,
that's not allowed.
No.
Even as gentle. But one way to break down defensive zone coverage is take shots, because the defending team doesn't know where the rebound's going to go either.
Off the draw. Shala with the shot at the goal post. Shala with a rocket that rang off the pipe. Lysell looks ahead. That's knocked away. Loose in the corner. Kulik Knocks that free. It's taken away by Rosean. Back down to the Czech line. Here's the hot check with it. Unacek. With his teammates changing. Finds Kulik. Pass ahead to Shapovalov. Shapovalov falls at the line. Helped by Spacek. In comes Spacek. Rolling puck. Centers it. Knocked away from Kulik. And Shapovalov keeps it in. His chin strap's undone as well. Shala throws it back in front. Bounce away from Kulik. Shohol goes across to Lysell. In comes Lysell on Svozil. And Svozil poke check that away. Svozil has been excellent for the Czechs from the opening game of this tournament. Played against his Regina teammate, Connor Bedard. The Czechs came out ahead. Now brought in. Bogner shot that deflected wide. Carlson drops it back. Beasthead can't reach it. Svozil out to center ice. Melash knocked that away. Puck loose at center ice. Moran was knocked down. Here's Beasthead back with it. Up for Carlson. Poked away by Spacek. And Sturz comes in. Gathers up the rolling puck. Sturz. His poke check there by Sandin Pelican. That's a retreat back to center ice. Amaras lines that back to Moravets. And here's Moravets with it. Up ahead to Rishavi. Johnson had that knocked away. Czechs have 10 of the last 11 shots in the game. But so far, the Swedes are holding. Hamara to Moravets. Shovels out across to Rishavi, who had a couple of great looks in the first period. Now moved ahead to Stromgren. He was poke checked there by Tchachek. Unacek gathers up the puck, moves it by Osman. Rishavi to the line, but not out. Long shot by Engstrom. Swept away by Tchachek. Unacek. Chips that backhead, goes after his own shoot, and his Shohol goes back. Knocked down by Marcel. Oscarson trying to work that free. Menchie up for Marcel. Marcel knocked down. Swedish defender has lost his stick. It was Oscarson. Now picked free by Hauser rather, and was knocked away. Out to center ice. Here's Menchie. Chips that back in. How does Menchie, one of the few Czech players who actually plays in Czechia? 17 of the 22 players in their roster play in a country other than Czechia. Rosean looks ahead for Sternberg. Sternberg moves that back. Lekaramaki plays it across. Rosean is shot and shooting wide. Lekaramaki. Poke check there by Shapovalov. Spacek breaks it up. Looks ahead for Kulik. Snaps it for Shala. Goes in on Moran. Kulik. Work that free to Shapovalov. Shapovalov trying to poke that back to Shala. Goes back down to the Swedish goal. And Lindblom will hang on to that. 10:33 to go here in the third period. Shala came this close to tying the game.
For dinner tonight, we're going to do a little spread from Good Food. I'm going to add some delicious little friends up here. Good Food couldn't be easier, couldn't be tastier. That's Good Food.
I was tempted by the idea of simple investing, but I really missed RBC's expertise. I guess a one-size-fits-all approach might work for some, not me. Now I'm back to the personalized advice I need.
With dementia, you're adrift. By combining research with a full spectrum of care, Baycrest is pioneering breakthroughs. No other organization leads more researchers working to defeat dementia. We believe 50% of dementia cases can be prevented, but we need your help. Donate now, and together, we'll create a future without fear.
Czechs trying to pry open this game. Down 1-0. They got a quick shot off a face-off. Shala rings off the bar, and then this is one of the best looks we've seen in ages for Sweden. It's blocked by Shapovalov as Rosean had a one-time look. But there's been a couple little slivers of offense creeping into this game in the third period.
There's Leo Carlson with it. Bangs that back out of the Czech zone. Hamara plays it out for Sturz. Chips it back to center ice, and it's picked up by Victor Schoholm.
Get to the final 10 here, Gord. It's about time the Czechs are going to have to start turning up the tempo a little bit, if they can.
Moravec goes back to pick it up. Much easier to defend on big ice.
Yeah.
But the Swedes are doing a good job here. Sturz looks ahead to Melash. Melash spins back in the corner, still on it. Melash stays with it. Drops it back, and that shot by Sapacek deflects wide. Sturz taken down. Worked free now. Jiricek drops that back, and the puck got by Rishavi back at the point.
There's the Jiricek below the goal line, supporting the cycle.
Simone Robertson pivots back. Robertson gets loose. Drops that back at the point. Narayan for Sandin Pellikka. Shoots, and Suhanek makes a stop on that. Oscar Pettersson down to Simone Robertson. Robertson works it free. Robertson spins and shoots. That took the stick right out of Tahacek's hands, but he's got it back. He finds Jiricek. Flips that head to Rishavi. Gets a step on Narayan. Throws that towards the goal. Lindholm the save. Banshee trying to take that free. Marcel comes in on Robertson. Ostlund steps away from Marcel. Plays it back around to Sandin Pellikka. Hauser forced him back.
Sandin Pellikka's played with a lot of poise in today's game.
17-year-old eligible for the upcoming draft, projected to be a first-round pick. Now brought in by Ogren. Ogren drops that back. It's picked off, but it bounced away. Roseanne's got it back. Now here's Hauser back with it. And a long shift for this group as Coast comes in. Knocked down by Svozil. Czechs complete the change. Svozil looks ahead to Hauser. He falls. Beasted. Rink wide pass to Ogren. Chips it by Spacek. They go back after it. Spacek pokes it back around for Svozil, but it's picked up by Beasted. Shapovalov chops at that. Now finally picked up by Spacek. Inside 8 to go in the third period. Shapovalov plays that back in. And now Engstrom goes back, and play is called at the Swedish line. It remains a 1-0 lead for Sweden.
Hey, what are we doing for the Chevrolet Goodies Cup this year? As much as we can! That's good! What about donating clothes? That's good. Washing cars? Got Mom an ice cream?
Come on over. Bring your appetite. Bring a friend. Bring a few. Our home is your home. Let us give you the tour. Then you can relax. And a little later, we'll even put on a show. New Brunswick, always inviting.
Czechs trailing 1-0, desperate for offense, and their most dangerous forward has been Martin Rishavi. The only guy who's found some pace through the neutral zone and some loose pucks. He's had a couple chances. He's drawn a penalty and just given Sweden something to think about in the neutral zone. It's just been too far and too few in between those rushes for Cechia.
Here's Hammer with it. Plays that back ahead. Kulak works in. Pass was knocked away and brought back out by William Stromgren. Calgary second-round pick looks ahead for Oscar Pettersson. Kulak out to center ice, and Schoholm almost fell there. Knocked back to Engstrom. Fires it back in. It's unforced icing against the Swedes. So the faceoff back in their zone. The faceoffs have been almost right down the middle so far in the game.
Like everything else, pretty even and not much going on. As Kulich was looking for a penalty here, but nothing wrong with this from Sjöholm. A little shove in the face, but nothing too bad. The problem now, Gord, with 7 minutes left, Sweden's not going to make a mistake. You're going to have to force them into an error. They're not going to give you something easy because they're caught out of position. You're going to have to break them down.
Face-off won by Providence. Sturz trying to tip that back, but it's moved down the ice by Stromgren. Juracek back with it. David Juracek playing the American Hockey League this year for Columbus's AHL affiliate in Cleveland. A point-a-game player there for them.
Just voted Rookie of the Month in the AHL in December.
Now he comes to Cechia with a shot that was blocked by Sternborg. Another chance. Cechia turned away by the glove of Carl Lindbom.
The defense-centric offense from Czechs is there again. I mean, it looks like it might be dangerous. Cechia trying to get pucks down to the net, but when a goalie's on top of it like Lindbom is, there's nobody around him. He's not going to have any trouble with this. And so, yeah, he makes the save, and he probably could have dropped that puck and played from the neutral zone if he wanted to.
Marcel wins the faceoff back. Svozil tees it up and goes off a skating line. And Sandin Pellikka, who led the Swedes in ice time through 2 periods, moves it ahead. 17-year-old. Draft eligible. Marcel. And that bumped away, rink wide to Kos. Spacek back with it. And once again, icing called against Cechia.
Sweden loves that. Slow it down. Offensive zone face-off. Can get a change in if you want. I'll tell you what, it's time to bottoms up. Time to get going or get going home.
Well, they pretty much invented the stuff, so when your hometown is Pilsen.
That's your helmet right there, Gord.
You think so?
I've never seen you have a beer before, but if you did, you'd come from a helmet like that.
Late Boreas Salming used to respond when people said Swedes were soft. Well, you know, we were Vikings. What a terrible loss that was in 2022. Beloved figure both in Sweden and here in Canada. Now Leo Carlson wearing his 21 chips it back out. That lead pass to Shapovalov, but again the Czechs ice the puck. There's just a lack of urgency here.
They're trying. They know they want to, you know, they're trying to get it up the ice, but Sweden's in the way all the time. Good sticks, and wonder what Rulik is contemplating at this point. 5:51.
Got a couple of NHL guys on his bench too. Marek Zavlicki, the defense coach, and Andrei Pavlitz, the goalie coach, is on the bench as well. Zavlicki was a terrific player.
They could use a guy like him right now. Makes the passes, jump up in the rush, create something in the offensive zone.
At the point, Hamara holds it. Long wrist shot floats wide. Ostlund back with it. Back to Engstrom. Stromgren. Got up Hammer at center ice. Now Kulich brings it back in. Kulich lines his way and shoots. That ramps off the stick of Engstrom. Up and out. 5:18 to go here in the third. The Swedes trying to make a 1-goal lead stand up.
Come on over. Bring your appetite. Bring a friend. Bring a few. Our home is your home. Let us give you the tour. Then you can relax. And a little later, we'll even put on a show. New Brunswick, always inviting.
Canada will be in its whites tonight. They're the official road team in this game, but they'll have the home crowd behind them as they take on Team USA. Our coverage starts at 6 Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific time. A matchup that never fails.
That game will be nothing. Nothing like this game. In style.
Juracek up for Melash. Oscarson moves in on Dehacek. A size mismatch there. Arnold lost the glove. It's Oscarson. And Juracek snaps that pass in for Sturz. Tied up by Sandin Pellikka. Good job defending there by Sandin Pellikka. Melash tries to gander up the loose puck. Moran. That is knocked out by Providence. Ogren to the line, but not out. Held by Juracek. Juracek works in, pulls, shoots. Lindblom. What a glove save by Carl Lindblom. A rocket from Juracek.
That's the one you're counting on from your Sweden. What a save, going one way to his right. Got to flash it back to the left. Juracek, who can really shoot it, gets all of that wrister. And Lindblom, watch that glove position. It is up there and stays up there. Doesn't sit on his hip. Sits by his shoulder, and he's able to pluck it out of the air. Well, it was going top corner.
Martzell for the face-off against Beasted. And again, they're forcing Kos and Pettersson to not encroach on the circle. Face-off, won by Beasted. 4.5 to go in the third period. In comes Spacek. Kos works that free. Back to Svozil. Across he goes. Martzell a shot. He hammered that high and wide. Svozil trying to poke that ahead. Wagner tied him up. Fed back in for Kos. Kos. The reshove. Banks that back. Martzell holds the line. Martzell. Back down to Reshavy. Pettersson by Spacek and back down the ice. And it's icing, so these tired Swedes will not be able to change.
So the defense holding the blue line. Juracek not backing up. Able to step inside. And that's a goal that, or a shot that he thinks he can score on. Oh, he gets a lot of it. Snappy glove save by Lindblom.
Who's now up to his tournament save percentage at .950. Remember, he opened with a back-to-back shutout. Excellent.
Already on.
Kulik. Back to the hot chick. Shoots. That goes wide. Banked back by Shapovalov for Kulik. Shapovalov. Trying to work that back in front. Went off a skate. Shallow reaching for it. Shala for his first goal of the tournament in the quarterfinals. Plays it back in the corner for Kulik. 3.5 to go. Dehacek plays that back. Juracek shot is blocked. Dehacek holds. He fires. That's blocked. Juracek tries his luck. Carlson steps into him. Juracek back on it. Spins that back for Dehacek. Plays it back. That was intercepted by Carlson and moved back to center ice. Kulik pokes out ahead for Shapovalov. Juracek stays out. Shapovalov winds back, drops it on for Svozil. Svozil centers it. Kulik can get a shot away. No, gets a stick on it. The puck still loose and held on the line by Spacek. Spacek plays it back in. Inside, 3 to go now in the third period. And we'll keep an eye on Suhanik in the Czech goal.
Another icing. Wow.
Oh, boy. And there's another tired group of Swedes on the ice.
And we'll see if Pettersson, who's been out there forever, is allowed to get to the bench. No, he's getting dragged back on the ice. Late in the shift, late in the game, whatever you can do to get into a shot lane. Look at this effort by Wagner. Moving his feet, getting low, getting wide, and not letting Dehacek get one down to the net. So after all that, we have disjointed line, and Sjöholm and Pettersson are huffing and puffing right now for Sweden.
Team Cechia.
Oh, I wouldn't do this.
No, they called timeout.
I would not do this. Sweden's already wasted their timeout during the 5-on-3. But Cechia calls it because they want to rest with an offensive zone faceoff. But
it was a monster shift for Juracek. That was part. I mean, that was a marathon shift for Juracek. They get him back out.
Listen, you got Svozil, you got Spacek. I'd rather have the tired defenders.
Yeah.
And it's not like there's a minute and a half left. there's 3 minutes left in the game.
And you probably have your goalie out at some point.
Which you might want to use it later. I want to just let them play out against this tired group. If I was the one choosing the strategy. 2:40 left on the clock. Because now Pettersson and Sjöholm will have 20 good seconds in them.
Right.
And then they'll be tired again. But I guess you're going to pull the goalie.
They are. They're going to take him out now. 2:40 to go. So 6 on 5 in the Swedish zone. The numbers would say that's early.
It's not like offense has been easy this game, so you got a shot at it, take it.
Shapovalov for the face-off against Sternborg. Scramble draw, controlled by Sjöholm. Sjöholm banks it ahead. Wagner had it knocked away by Jiricek. And now Spacek back with it for Jiricek. Slaps it ahead to Marcel. Marcel works that free along the boards. Shapovalov comes after it. Played back around, picked up by Shala. Brings it around to Kulik. Kulik works it back across. Jiricek for Kulik. Works it and shoots. Lindblom save. Rebound to the side of the goal. Shapovalov down the pass back. Ostlund banks it off the boards, back down the ice. Race for Jiricek. Oscar Pettersson icing waved off. Jiricek falls. Moved up by Spacek. Shala. Wide serve, 3-on-2, Cechia. Shala in, shoots, fired it wide. Spacek lifts it back to Svozil. Cross he goes to Kulik. Kulik. 100 seconds to go in the third period. Svozil shoots, that's blocked. Rebound, handled wide by Kulik. Spacek reaches for it, keeps it alive for Cechia. Feeds that back to Svozil. Here comes Kulik, winds and shoots, that's blocked. Rebound, loose it, but Milas reaching for it. That's knocked away. To the line, not out. Held by Svozil. Pass deflected by Ogren. Now Ogren back on it. Kulik trying to keep it alive. Picked up by Sternborg. And Kulik steals it back. He falls. Ogren's got it. And banks it back down to the Czechia zone. And Svozil's got a hold as Czechia's making a change. Jiricek's waiting to come on. Robinets lifts it in, but the shooting goes over the glass and out. The faceoff will come outside. 1:01 to go in the third period.
You can't say the strategy didn't work. Czechs get possession. They have all kinds of looks. They get pucks down to the net. Couldn't quite find a clean look, but some of these rebounds with Milas in front, Shapovalov banging away. Lindblom holds firm, and so does the defense in front of him. Sweden's got it down to just over a minute left in the game. Suhanek back in the net with the center ice face-off.
Face-off wasn't done fairly. So Jiricek is back out for Cechia with Svozil. See if they can get a top on the Shapovalov line back out in the final minute. Off the draw, Sturz reaching for it. Elias Pettersson has it back and banks it back down to the Czechia zone. Icing against the Swedes. That's an unforced error.
Ill-advised play. And you understand, you want to be hard. You don't want to turn it over, make strong plays, but you got to have a touch there, or skate it to the red line, get pinched off, and just roll it down the boards. But now with the icing, goalie's out. They can reload to get the set they want in the offensive zone off a face-off.
And they'll leave the Brabants line out there. Shapovalov, or rather, Jiricek comes out.
Big shooters on the point with Spacek and Jiricek.
Oscarsson wins the face-off. Brabants broke a stick. Quickly grabs another.
Bring it up, boys! Bring it up!
6 skaters on 5 as Brabants rejoins the play. Spacek looks across the top. Jiricek winds and shoots. David Jiricek ties the game with 38 seconds to go. And the icing cost the Swedes dearly.
they broke their stick in the faceoff. The job of the forward scrumming the puck until Pravonets could get back on the ice. And then this is the guy you want shooting it. He's been hammering pucks all tournament long, and he just goes low and heavy and sneaks it right underneath Lindbaum.
And look at that celebration.
That is beautiful to see if you're a Czech fan. The offense or the defense, we were worried it might not work the entire tournament. Well, when they needed it the most, they get another one from a defenseman to tie it with 38 seconds left.
The 11th goal scored by a Czech defenseman in the tournament. Jiricek has his third. And here we go. Show home, back for it. Now picked up by Kulik. Shots are 14-3 Czechia in the third period.
You stop playing, you just start defending and hope you get it all the way over the finish line. They got close. They need their goaltender to make a couple more saves.
Just like the round-robin game, the Czechs tied it up late. Overtime looming now as Bistad moves in. Knock off the puck by Spacek, and this semifinal game is going to OT. It'll be 10 minutes of 3-on-3, and then if necessary, a shootout. David Jiricek, the hero for his country. The tying goal inside a minute to go in the third period. Off to overtime we go in the semifinals of the 2023 World Junior Hockey Championship.
This is your chance. You keep her alive. Save her. You can save her.
You've come this far, and you know what's out there.
You have a greater purpose than any of us could have ever imagined.
Name?
Special Agent Will Trent.
He just brought down a bunch of corrupt cops. That's kind of hot.
Will's my best agent. He can teach you to see things no one else does.
There's a kidnapping.
Why Will Trent?
You read that crime scene like a book.
You smell like urine to you?
When people call you weird, I really do defend you. But you gotta help me out.
An all-new episode of Will Trent, Tuesday at 10, 8 Mountain, only on CTV. Stream on all your favorite devices.
Here are the overtime rules for the quarters, semis, and bronze medal game. It's 10 minutes of 3-on-3 followed by a shootout. By the way, tomorrow night in the gold medal game, there will be no shootout. They'll play until someone scores a golden goal if it goes past regulation, which this is, with the warm-up scheduled to take place for Canada and the U.S. in an hour.
Well, they cut the games a little bit tighter today.
Yeah.
This one's going overtime. And here's the neutral zone faceoff. So Pettersson gets the puck right here. He can just chip that one softly to the far blue line. He goes for the hard bank. It ends up being an icing, and he knows it. And then the scrum on the boards allows the Czechs to regain control, and then hammer time for Jiricek.
In the first half of the game, the first 30 minutes, the Swedes outshot the Czechs 14-12. Since then, 17-3 Czechia.
Now the good news for Sweden is that they don't have to try to turn their game back on as though they were playing 5-on-5, where they've been just defending. It's 3-on-3. It's an entirely different game. They'll be skating and attacking and be back into this game. So they give themselves a chance at least.
Lindbaum, by the way, was 38 seconds away from tying the world junior record for most shutouts in one tournament.
He's been so solid. And just the ability to think clearly, to make the right play in stressful moments. It's so hard to do. And it hurts Sweden.
Justin Pogge, Devin Levi, Spencer Knight. Both had three in one tournament. All three had three in one tournament. So here we go. 3-on-3. It was the defenseman Ludwig Janssen who scored the overtime winner for the Swedes in the round robin against the Czechs. Robinets and Melash will start for Czechia. Both teams are up. Standing on the bench. A berth in the gold medal game on the line for two countries more than any other than the snake bitten in this tournament. Janssen drops that back to Bistad. Up for Leo Carlson. In comes Carlson. Gets a step. Carlson moves in. Drops it across. Bistad shoots. And Suhanek got just a piece of that and knocks it up and out of play.
The slow developing play. Leo Carlson attacks the seam he sees and does a great job to stay with it, getting over to Bistad, and you're right. Suhanek sliding out. Gets just a piece with his blocker on Bistad. Maybe in the top of his stick.
They'll leave him out there. Shapovalov comes on for the face-off for Cechia. Out there with Kulik and Spacek. Face-off, one back to Spacek. He pivots back, being forced by Carlson. Spacek steps out. Spacek along with Kulik. The pass in for Kulik. He was moved off the puck by Bistad. Kulik races to it. Shapovalov trailing. Kulik wins possession in the corner away from Janssen. In comes Kulik. Janssen trailing on him. Kulik drops it back to Spacek. Spacek back for Shapovalov. And Shapovalov works in. Shapovalov gets a step. Comes in. Tries the wraparound. Crosses through the crease. Shapovalov reaching back for it as the Swedes couldn't clear. Shapovalov now winds back to center ice. And Spacek comes off. Shapovalov moves in. On comes Svozil. And Shapovalov will retreat now. Drops it back to Svozil. Shapovalov goes off. And on comes Sturz. Shapovalov, the Czech captain. Lead pass for Sturz. In comes Sturz. On Ostlund defending. Sturz works back down. Sturz still with it. Drops that back across to Svozil. Svozil works back in, being flushed there by Rosean. And Svozil goes back to center ice. And now the Swedes will change.
All about possession, but taking it all the way back allows Sweden to change as well. So you're not really getting tired guys stuck out there.
Marcel winds past two Swedes. He's got close with him. Marcel comes in, pokes at it. That's knocked back in the corner. Wagner back on it. Wagner being watched by Kos. Peels back. Drops it back to Sjöholm. A tentative game's had a tentative overtime. Sjöholm. Rink wide to Ogren. Drops that back to Sternborg. Late game hero in the quarterfinals. In comes Sternberg. Works right in. Shoveled it towards the goal. So Suhanek makes the stop. Melash back with it. He's tied up by Sternborg. Wins it for Ogren. It's in front. It's rolled wide by Liam Ogren. Picked up now by Sternborg. Sternborg drops it back to Janssen. Ludvig Janssen drops it back to Ogren. Tired checks on the ice now. Ogren. He'll retreat. Plays it back to Sternborg. Swedes start a change. So do the Czechs. Sternborg taken down. Look back at the official. No call coming. And here is Spacek with it. Both teams get fresh players on the ice. Inside 7 to go in the overtime period. Spacek. Up ahead for Shapovalov. Shapovalov with Kulik. Shapovalov trying to drop that back. It's knocked away from Spacek. Chance up for Carlson. He had Sandin Pellikka streaking ahead. Spacek being forced there by Carlson. Steps away from him. Lead pass for Shapovalov. Up for Kulik. Sandin Pellikka closes on him. Now Kulik trying to work it free. Puck still loose. Sandin Pellikka trying to freeze it. Shapovalov working to knock it loose. And does. And now they re-engage. Picked up by Ostlund. He throws that back across to Carlson. And the Czechs will change. Swedes got fresh players on the ice as well as Engstrom goes back to pick it up. Isak Rosean steps away from Rishabi. In comes Rosean. Winds in. Great move. Walks it and shoots it. Suhanek makes a great stop with a blocker. What a move by Rosean. Here he comes again. Rosean swings it back across. Bistad throws it in front. Picked up by Svozil. And now the Czechs back the other way. And Rishabi along with Sturz. Rishabi trying to throw that back in front for Sturz. That misfired. Picked up now by Engstrom. He moves in on Jiricek but decides to peel back. Back across to Roseanne. And the Swedes completing a change. Roseanne will go off.
What a chance for Roseanne. Smooth 1-on-2. Walks right in alone.
Janssen drops it off to Liam Ogren, the Minnesota first rounder. Works in. Ogren's got a chance. Fans on the shot. And a race for it. Coast can't get there in time. Picked up by Janssen. Booked free by Marcel. 5 minutes gone here in the overtime period. And here's Jiricek. Steps away from Wagner. Moves it ahead to Melash. In comes Melash, and the play's offside at the Swedish line.
Very patient on both sides, but sometimes an individual effort gets it done, and it's around Skozil on the little toe drag. He gets him mid-pivot, which is not what you want to do as a defender. But Suhanek just waits him out with the patience of the blocker. Didn't quite get underneath that puck the way he wanted to, right under the bar, but tremendous rush, but better save by Suhanek to keep it tied.
Sternberg wins that face-off back to Sandin Pellikka, who's playing a ton here this afternoon.
Sternberg face-off, get-off in overtime.
Sandin Pellikka for Ostlund. Carlson out there as well for Sweden. Ostlund works in. Puck rolled off his stick. He gathers it back up and retreats to center ice. Janssen drops it back to Leo Carlson. In comes Carlson. Poke check by Spacek. What a play there by Carlson to bat that towards the Czech goal. And Suhanek makes a quick stop.
Almost accidentally, Carlson's trying to do what Roseanne just did and dance a defender, but an active stick from Spacek knocks it into the air. Pretty quick hand-eye from Leo Carlson, who plays with so much poise and confidence. You'd never know that he would be one of the younger players on the team. And that little swat gave Suhanek something to think about.
Carlson turned 18 on Boxing Day. Shapovalov for the face-off against Bistad.
Kulik can't get in a foot race somewhere. He's been quiet with that speed in this game.
Roseanne off the face-off, win by Bistad. Works it back down low. Roseanne with possession in the offensive zone. Roseanne still with it. Another tour. Trying to throw that back in front. Picked out by Kulik. Out with Skozil. Kulik spins back. He's got angst from the defenseman all over him. Shapovalov plays it back. Swedes are changing. 3:45 to go in OT. Kulik dropped it back for Jiricek. And now Jiricek has a look. Steps away from Ogren, and again, but Ogren stays on him.
He needs some support from the forwards.
Oh, turn over to Ogren. Now Kulik has it back. 3-on-2 for the Czechs, but Kulik found on that pass. Sandin Pellikka drops it off to Wagner. Wagner winds in, has a look. Spacek forces him back. Wagner winds in again, being watched by Spacek. Wagner tries him. In behind the goal, Wagner. Drops it back to Ogren. And now Wagner will retreat to center ice. 3 to go in OT. Sandin Pellikka gets a step. Drops it back. Ogren feeds that back to Ostlund. Gets it up. Rishevi shoots! And Suhanek reaching back. Keeps it out. Just.
Ostlund trying to force it through the 5-hole. And he knows it's close. Suhanek knows it's close. He can feel it drifting through and his feet drifting back towards the goal line. Oh! It's on the goal line. Any wrong touch, spin, or anything knocks that over. Suhanek keeps the game going.
2:50 to go in OT.
I'll make sure that that one didn't go in. It did not.
Janssen has to retreat to center ice. Rishevi all over him. In comes Rishevi on Janssen, and Rishevi lost a step. Just a speed wobble at the end of that. And now Carlson back with it. Leo Carlson works in as the Swedes are changing. Moves around Svozil. Svozil stays with him. Carlson drops it back. Sandin Pellikka. Forced there by Rishavi, and Sandin Pellikka comes back to center ice. Carlson works back in, drops it off to Sandin Pellikka. Pass across for Sternberg. He'll retreat to center ice, being watched by Sturts. Now Sandin Pellikka tries his luck. Swedes have fresh forwards on the ice. Sandin Pellikka back for Rosean. Drops that back again. We've seen more regroups in this overtime than normal. And now Ostlund works in. Ostlund trying to go behind the back. He falls. Jiricek picks it back up. Jiricek trying to quick up that for Brabinets. And now Brabinets has it. Sturts needs to change as Brabinets swings back. They get Melish on the ice. Look out, Sudik. Falls. No contact there with Rosean. And away comes Jiricek. Spreads it ahead for Melash. Working in Melash. Works around. Lindbom down. And Melash had him off balance. Couldn't get a shot away. Melash drops that back. Brabinets back for Melash. Works it and shoots. And Lindbom makes the stop.
Melash gets a look. It's a little too far out. Not enough traffic. And Lindbom able to make the save as it has been a very slow developing, probing kind of game. In overtime.
First shot of the OT for the Czechs.
They've been in their own end far more often as, you know what, that's, you can never give the goaltender a penalty, but that's Zwanek initiating contact.
Shapovalov wins the faceoff back to Spacek. Finds Shapovalov. Rinkwine goes for Kulik. Kulik works across for Spacek. He's got room. Spacek shoots, fired it wide. And Shapovalov has to race back to pick up the loose puck. 1 minute to go in overtime. Shapovalov plays it back across. Brought in by Kulik. Works it and shoots. Scores! Yuri Kulik, overtime winner. And Cechia will go to the gold medal game. They tied it with 38 seconds to go in regulation. They win it with 49 seconds to go in overtime. Yuri Kulik plays for Rochester, the American League, the Buffalo first-rounder. He's an overtime hero as the Czechs go to the gold medal game for the first time since they won gold in 2001.
Czechs had nothing going on almost the entire overtime. We were looking for a guy like Kulik maybe to find someone a little open ice, and he does. He gets Wagner on his hip, and he's so fast. He cruises quickly and comfortably past Wagner, and now he's just thinking about pulling to the middle and getting it up, and boy, tidy little finish on Lindbom, who was fantastic in this game. But the late game heroics to tie it, and the late overtime heroics from Kulik to win it underneath the 7-hole of Lindbom. And Yuri Kulik finds a way, and the Czechs find a way to head to the gold medal game.
And for the Swedes, once again, devastation in the medal round of the World Junior Championship. They've now lost 11 of the 18 semifinal games they've played in this tournament. They will play for the bronze medal. Elation for the Czechs. And for the Swedes, once again, one gold medal in the last 40 years.
And they were right there. The icing call. Lindbom half a minute away from another shutout, and yet now they'll be disappointed. Czechs jubilant. They'll look for a gold tomorrow.
We'll get the player of the game presentations here. The top 3 players for each team is chosen by the team's management groups, and then the Czech national anthem.
Each team will be awarded a one-of-a-kind hockey stick, hand-painted by a Maui indigenous artist. Today's hockey sticks were hand-painted by Lauren Alexander Julian, a Mi'kmaq artist from Millbrook First Nation, Nova Scotia. His design features an eagle, a symbol of love that can be interpreted as kindness, understanding, and protection. The awards will be presented by the artist himself from Millbrook First Nation, Lauren Alexander Julian. The best player for Team Sweden est le numéro 6, Victor Schuholm.
The defensive game, having a defensive player stand out, no surprise for Sweden.
Schuholm, the player returned for the December canceled tournament, didn't play in the summer, he was injured.
The best player for Team Czechia est le numéro 25, Yuri Kulich.
Kulich, the 18-year-old, one of the 19 returning from last year. The bitter defeat in the bronze medal game to the Swedes. Able to avenge that, now will play for gold tomorrow night.
The 3 best players of the 2023 IIHF Ice Hockey World Junior Championship will be awarded with a watch from Tissot. The 3 best players award is selected by each team and will be presented by Rick Ostrom, Managing Director, Tissot Canada, and Katie Duggan, Regional Manager, Tissot Canada. The 3 best players of Team Sweden are number 18, Philip Beested. Number 9, Ludvig Janssen.
Janssen had the goal for the Swedes in regulation time.
And number 35, Carl Lindboom.
Lindboom that close to a 3rd shutout, a berth in the gold medal game, and with 38 seconds left in the 3rd period, the shot goes under his pad and in.
Heartbreak for him. He's been so good in this tournament.
The 3 best players for Team Czechia are number 24, Matthias Shapovalov.
One of the top face-off men in the tournament.
I like that because he's been so good for them, even though he hasn't piled up the points to the same degree or
number
goals.
Number 3, David Spacek.
Take your pick from any of those defensemen.
Yeah.
And number 30, Thomas Suhanek.
Players with World Junior experience. Now we've got a chance to win a gold medal, our country's first since 2001 tomorrow night.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Team Czechia. Mesdames et messieurs, merci de vous lever afin d'écouter l'hymne national de l'équipe Tchéquie.
Say
medal-worthy celebration for Czechia. And we know this, they will win their first medal since 2005. That's a guarantee. The only question left is, will it be silver or gold? And you would think they will play really loose, pressure-free tomorrow against the Canadians or the Americans, whoever their opponent is, as they try to win their first gold since 2001. And so we can put in 2 spots in our brackets. The Czechs going to the gold medal game. The Swedes, the drought continues. It will be at least 11 years since their last gold medal. And that trend of playing great in group play and finding a way to fail in the knockout round or the semis continues for the Swedes. All right, don't forget, quicker turnaround today. We are just 37 minutes away from our pregame show and little over an hour away from the drop of the puck between Canada and the U.S. 6 Eastern for the pregame show, 3 p.m. Pacific time. Jiri Kulik and David Jiricek, Czechia heroes. 1 goal in the last minute to tie it, 1 goal in the last minute of overtime to win it. And Czechia back in the gold medal game for the first time in 2 decades. SportsCenter now with Rod Smith.
Bedard back with it. Slides in again. Bedard talks right in. Overtime winner sends Canada to the semis.
This kid is out of this world. You should not be able to do this against this level of competition. That is a goal for the ages.
I mean, I always want the puck. I think, you know, obviously the moment's big, but for myself, I've done that same move a million times.
What's your view of what Bedard did tonight?
It's almost like he's just pressing random buttons on the Xbox controller, you know, coming up with some of these dangles.
I'm kind of calling for it, but I see him burn the first guy, see him burn the second guy, see him burn the third guy. That was one of the craziest moments I've ever been a part of.
And with that, we welcome you to SportsCenter. I'm Rod Smith, and live with Mark Masters in Halifax, getting set for another showdown between 2 bitter hockey rivals. Canada, USA. Mark, the winner will play for gold. Now, they've each won 4 of 5 games in this tournament. Not much really to choose between them, except Team Canada believes it has one significant advantage.
Yeah, Rod, that would be size. This is the tallest Team Canada ever assembled. They made physicality a priority when putting this roster together. The Americans, meanwhile, only have 1 defenseman who stands taller than 6 feet.
We match up good. You know, we've been watching film. You know, they don't like the physical play, and when we're playing our best game, you know, we're getting to the front of the net, we're being physical, we're boxing out, and I think that's what we need to do.
We got some big boys up front, and I don't know. I think, you know, we're a pretty tough group, and I think we're really mentally tough too. So I don't know. He can say what he wants.
I think we might have the edge physicality-wise. I think we're a tough team to play against down low, and when we're tracking back. So I think in that aspect we got to be ready, and I think if we do that, I think the favor could be in our hands.
How would you assess your team's ability to deal with the physicality?
Yeah, we'll be ready to go. Yeah, there's not much to say about that. Scoring a goal in a barn like this with everybody cheering against you will definitely get your spidey senses tingling a little bit. It just gets me fired up right now. So yeah, it'll be fun.
The Americans have talked about they have a plan to stop Connor Bedard. They don't want to reveal it. Do you think a game plan exists to stop this guy right now?
I don't know. I mean, if they found one, then that's good on them. But I mean, we've thought of different ways as players, and we can't seem to find one.
We just play our game and you know, play him hard, play him like we play everyone else. So, you know, he's a great player, and we got some great players on our team, and we're just gonna focus on us.
A lot of teams have been saying they can try and stop him, but I think he just finds a way. I think he's just got that special ability to find ways to get it done and be successful. So I'm excited to see what he does tonight. I mean, every night he does something pretty amazing.
U.S. coach Rand Pecknold says his defense is small, but they have elite IQ and have been great at breaking the puck out during this tournament. That includes Canadians prospect Lane Hudson at 154 pounds. He's one of the lightest players here, but Pecknold says he's crazy deceptive, Rod.
Mark Masters in Halifax getting set for semifinal number 2 at the World Juniors. It is coming up within the hour here on TSN. As you look at the all-time record against the USA for the Canadian juniors, 33-12-3 all-time. But Canada's only won 4 of the last 10 meetings going back to 2012. The USA beating Canada in the 2021 gold medal game. Let's set this one up more and go right back to Halifax now. James Duthie and our panel.
Rod, thank you very much. You know, Cheryl Pounder, Jeff O'Neill, and Bob McKenzie. What should we start with? Oh, okay. Yeah, 16 for Canada. And you've seen it, but the numbers when you see them game by game are just ludicrous for Connor Bedard. 1 goal against Cechia, and since then, 7 points, 6 points, 4 assists, 3 points, including the record-breaking goal to start it and the incredible goal to end it. The Americans say they have a plan. You heard from Mark Masters there to contain Bedard. What do you think it is, Bob, and what do you think the chances are of it being successful?
Well, it's obviously top secret, and head coach Rand Pecknold isn't really telling anybody what he's going to do. But there's no question that they've got to try and do something to limit the effectiveness of this player, and they do have last change, and they've got a big number 1 line of Logan Cooley, Cutter Gauthier, and Jimmy Snuggerud, 3 first-round picks. And I don't think that they would absolutely shy away from that, but I don't think it's necessarily the preferred matchup. Their best two-way line is centered by Red Savage. Red Savage, aside from being one of the great names in hockey, is also the son of former NHL player Brian Savage. And he plays on the best two-way line they have with Ottawa Senator first-rounder Tyler Boucher and Dylan Duke. That has been their best two-way line. That could very well be the line that they would like to have against them. But late in the game against Germany, Rand Pecknold did mix things up a little bit, and he took the Red Savage, the best two-way center on the team, and he put them with big Charlie Stramel, who's eligible for the draft this year, a big power forward type, and Gavin Brindley, who's draft eligible this year as well, but he's a real speedster and a good two-way player. There's some speculation that maybe they could create that new line to try and do business. As for the defense, you've got Luke Hughes, who's an athletic guy, but you've also got some other players on this team that have smart, cerebral players that aren't well-known household names. They could mix and match their defense just to get some good guys, stick-on-puck kind of guys against Connor Bedard.
If they're going to shadow him, Jimmy, it better look different than the last game, because that was the talk the last game. We're going to shadow Bedard.
But it's funny. The National Hockey League scouts were talking about that and said, we haven't seen it's never done in hockey anymore. Nobody shadows. And wouldn't it be something if that was the plan, but nobody knows whether that's the case or not, and I wouldn't hold my breath on that.
Logan Cooley for the U.S. has 11 points. Canada's Logan Stankoven enters this game with 15 straight primary points over his last 2 World Juniors. Who wins the battle of the Logans?
Well, you'd have to give the advantage to Stankoven, James, because he goes over the boards every time with Connor Bedard, but Cooley's a great player and a difference maker for Team USA. Going over some of their video, he's always around the net, he's going to the net, and when he gets there, he makes things happen. He's got great hands in tight, and Stankoven, other than Bedard, this guy's been a game breaker, not only this tournament, but the one in the summertime. As long as the tournament goes on, he gets better and better. And he's got to get more opportunities in important situations to be a difference maker out there for Canada.
One quick sidebar on the Logan front. Keep in mind, too, Logan Cooley was taken 3rd overall by Arizona. Shane Wright went 4th overall to Seattle. Right. So you've got a little draft by play on that front.
I also enjoyed the going over the video prep little humble brag.
Has to happen. Has to happen.
What would be the X factor if none of those things the guys discussed changes this game?
Well, I'm going to stay away from the Stars, and I'm going to go right to that third line. You know that any great team needs to deploy a third line, and they can deploy it differently, and that's going to be the arsenal, a real weapon here. You can look to get a preferable matchup, but when you have a guy like Gauthier, he's over 55% in the circle. He's also a righty. He's killing penalties. It saves you a lot of possession time. Then again, Dean with a great game last game in the quarterfinal, just being hounding on the puck, and that's really what they need to do. They really need to have physical presence along the wall, below the goal line. Hey, and then if they contribute or they can chip in offensively, even better. And you can see there Ostachuk having a look. He knows he's taking this shot. The numbers are 3-on-1. So you've got players that can go north, south, east, west. They'll play strong, tough minutes, physical battle for this group. And I think that they can certainly be a big piece of a win.
The U.S. has really spread out the scoring. Once you get past Bedard, 4 next top scorers in the tournament heading into today were from the Americans. Bedard's been in on 21 of 33 for Canada. You would think at some point